So we're having a bit of a technical moment. Josh's audio crapped the hell out. So I'm just gonna hang out with y'all and talk for a bit while he gets his audio fixed. That's the plan, anyway. But hello for those of you joining us. I think there's like 2 or 3 people in here. I'm very excited. Hello, good to see you all. Today we're gonna be tackling the current earworm that is in my head, thanks to Josh entirely, actually.
Welcome.
Thank you. So, for those of you who don't know, the Longest Johns is a sea shanty group, and they've released their newest album, Cures What Ails Ya. And I sent Josh one song, and I was like, "Hey, this is a cool song, and we should do something with that for like the crew of the pirate ship in our campaign." And Josh was like, "That's really cool, but have you heard this?" And then threw it at my face. So we're gonna talk about Ashes today, which is a song off of that album, and I will throw up a link for you in the from Spotify in the chat. And actually, we'll also play it on the stream, so y'all can go listen to it, and we'll sort of talk about the deceptive trickiness of this particular song, because it's got some funky things going on in terms of music and meter and rhythm, and so we want to, make sure that people, because we've said this is a stream about learning music for those of you who want to write your own folk songs and sea shanties and stuff like that for your own campaigns. So we're going to talk about some stylistic choices as well as some of the aesthetic of it. But again, as per usual, this for the rest of the month, and so this stream and the next stream that we do, we'll be raising money for the Bail Project, which is a nonprofit that is basically, helping to end sort of capital commercial bail as a practice, and also I believe in the course of recent times also helping protesters and such with their bail if they get arrested and held. So we're gonna toss a link up to that in a hot second when I remember what the command is, because it's been a minute.
It's exclamation point BLM petition. No, exclamation point SOS or BLM petitions. We have a few.
Yeah, we've got like 2, and I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head, so we'll get to that in a minute. The other one, BLM Petitions, is a petition, a set of petitions to end some very unfortunate injustices that have happened in regards to policing and the minority community, in terms of the events that happened around George Floyd. I don't remember Armad's first name off the top of my head, and I'm Breonna Taylor, the last of which is still not having enough done about that hot mess. So, sign them. Show people that you care. Okay. So, for the petitions, it is BLM Petitions, because I know what I'm doing. So, we'll throw that up there, so you can see it. And for the Bail Project, Tiltify, which is the way that we are collecting donations for them, it's coming up now with the SOS. The SOS command is what it was. Ding. Also, for those of you who, as you'll note in the chat, if you donate $10 or more through Tiltify, and leave a way for us to get in touch with you in your comment, either a Twitter handle or an email or Discord, something that we can get in touch with you with. If you donate $10 or more, you'll be entered into the chance to win your very own custom sea shanty, which we'll probably do live on the stream. Probably after the month is concluded and we've gotten all of the donations sort of tallied up, and you can see who's done what where. As of right now, we've passed our first sort of milestone, which was $50, which was our first giveaway. We wanted to set a little minimum for those to there. We're $130 out of 250. We're more than halfway there to the end of our goal for the month. So if you are at all able to, please donate and help out the Bail Project. But I'm going to take it from the fact that Josh is now responding to the things that I'm saying. Can hear me.
He can, but as soon as Discord goes back up, it's just being a butt. Because we have been constantly cursed by the technical difficulties wizard from Magic Tavern.
Okay, that's an old reference.
I know, it's like OG Magic Tavern live show.
Yeah, wow, okay. So...
And it's been so long since a live show's happened.
Wow, ouch.
It's fine. This is a live show, technically.
It is. It's true. I could sense the pain in there. So
you do things, and I will talk about things, and at some point we'll switch over. So I've heard you in and out, just kind of talking about you talked about the lyrical side of things, or like what you're doing. Have you mentioned any about what I'm doing on my end yet?
I actually haven't talked anything about what we were doing at all. I was just saying that we were doing it
cool,
because
cool,
it
cool,
was
cool.
in our heads. But if you want to talk about what you've been doing, I will happily let you do that.
Yeah, no. So at some point, once I get my life sorted, which could take more than this stream, we'll be able to switch over and look at what I'm doing on mine. Basically, what we've done up until now is take these shanties, and most of them were made to just be the human voice and nothing else. And so they're already a cappella, and a cappella is just a fancy term that means, sorry, my camera was being weird. It's just a fancy term that means without instrumentation, only voices. This particular piece, Ashes, which I'm sure John was already like, damn, it's a good piece. And I was like, yeah, is so good. It's so good. But it's written for voice and guitar. And so it's going to be a completely different game trying to change that into something just for voices, which is going to be a cool challenge. And I've already written a little bit of it because this is not one I wanted to go in completely blind to. But you'll see what I've done and what we kind of go to fix it. And this particular one I've written for tenor, baritone, and bass, which basically just means the lower registered voices. But I cannot stress enough that it is not we will not use these as gendered terms ever on this. It is written for tenor, baritone, and bass, but if you can sing it, you can sing it. So yeah, I'm gonna keep futzing on my end. Take it away.
Okay, so Ashes has some really neat lyrical stuff going on, and I want to draw attention to a part of it that I think is really important in terms of the construction of it. And this is the kind of thing that I do. I will go deep diving into lyrics all the time, but there is a specific line in this song. So actually, so let's talk about lyrical construction first. So there's a couple different ways that
ASHE.
Yeah.
Also, I fixed my Discord.
Nice. So, the shanties that we've done tend to have very shanties and like sort of the folk tradition tend to have two different constructions. One of which is like you'll have a verse followed by a chorus, which is a separate piece, and that the chorus will come back in and ring every time. And then some sort of are self-contained within the verses and have their own rhyme schemes that match from verse to verse as they move on, so that you get different songs that have one either like a self-contained verse, self-contained verses that stack one after the other without a chorus in between, but link to each other through some sort of lyrical convention, either a line at the end or a line at the beginning. Usually, that's generally how that tends to work. And then you get sort of the hybrid of the two, which is, like, for example, Bully in the Alley, which we did last week, which has both the same double conventions of lyrical lines laid into the verses, as well as those lines mirrored in the chorus with a repeating chorus. So, Ashes does sort of the... which one did I say? I said chorus and then not? Yeah. So Ashes,
yes.
Ashes does the second kind, where it has a... it's a four-line verse. It's a four-line verse, and the last line is the same line. So in this case, it's "I'll tend to the flame, you can worship the ashes."
We cannot ignore the land of depressing chorusless ballads. This is fair.
This is true. Like I said, yeah. Like sometimes there are choruses and sometimes there aren't, and sometimes.
And don't worry. This one's going to be depressing with a little bit of chorus in it, so...
Yeah! And so, you know, yeah, this one is really... Okay, so let's give you some backstory real quick.
Yeah!
So, Ashes
so
is a really almost nostalgic song the way it's written. And what I'll do, actually, is I'm going to play a little bit of it while I'm talking. And
I'm going to sit here and bop my head like I can hear it.
Hey, so I'm going to play a little bit of it so y'all can hear. But I'll play the first two verses because that kind of sets up the convention of how we did it. The first the first verse is a much slower, almost dirgy kind of sound to it, and the second one sort of picks up when the guitar comes in. But the overall lyrical tone of the song is fairly... It's not so much depressing as it is kind of nostalgic.
Yeah.
And then I slapped it with the angst button because of events that happened in our tabletop campaign, which is what I rewrote this for. So, let's play some Ashes for a second. Or maybe...
that old fire
no, there it is.
It's quiet.
I was like, where?
The once blessed the household and lit up our
I love this Bob.
It shone for the friends and the clinking of glasses. I'll tend to the flame, you can worship the ashes.
And so you can sort of hear the guitar picks up and the tempo starts to get a little bit faster. Not by much, but a little bit more constant, a bit less open.
Capture the wild things and bring them in line. And own what was never your right to confine. The lives and the loves and the songs are what matters. I'll tend to the flame, you can worship the ashes.
I think the next verse is where the acapella drone sets in. Hold on.
It does,
Do
yeah.
you feel
Yeah, there it is.
heavy,
You can start hearing
your
there.
eyes drop with grief?
So they
Your
sort of layer in
spirit is
parts
wild
to
and
start
your
with
suffering
solo
is
voice,
brief.
sort of free-flowing, and the
So
songs on
never
tempo
you
come in with the
buckle
voices and the
and
guitar,
bend to the
and then you sort of
massive.
add in the sort of drone
I'll
acapella
tend
sort
to the
of
flame, you
held
can
note
worship
in the third,
ashes.
and then I think it splits into harmonies the next one.
Get round
No,
the
it goes back to
fire
drum.
with
Okay,
a glass of...
Point is, that's sort of where it goes, right? So, there's a couple things to note about Ashes in terms of its lyrical construction that I find really cool. Worship the flame and tend to the flame and worship the ashes. Probably, I don't know exactly where they got that from. I don't know what the Longest John's lyrical convention was. I'm not the fly on that wall.
Yo,
However,
Longest Johns, hit us up.
Yeah.
We know you follow me on Twitter.
Yeah. Hey, if you know, let us know. But there is a paraphrasing of a Thomas More quote by Gustav Mahler, which is, "Tradition is the passing on of the fire, not the worship of the ashes." So you can take that two ways, is really. You can take, and a lot of these sort of things are about, a lot of the verses are about sort of things that were done and then sort of that have finished and moved on, and then you have moved on from. So you can take that if you want to sort of mean this, sort of, rather than sort of fixating on what has happened, what is left behind, sort of learning from it, being informed from it, and moving on is what the singer is doing as opposed to everyone else. And then we tossed that all out the window. So because I loved it, and I didn't want to take anything from that because I think the song was best left like that. And so now we got into the versions that we wrote for this campaign. For those of you who don't know, the reason why Josh and I met, sort of, for the second time really, but actually at all, with any consistency, was Josh is a player in a pirate D&D campaign that I am running, and we just had our first season finale, which ended with me stabbing multiple knives into everybody and twisting a lot.
It was rough.
I hope they enjoyed it from what they've told me they have, but
we loved it, but God, it hurt.
But we are starting out the second season in about 2 weeks, after an in-game 3-month anime time skip. So one of the things I did was, because we were trying to sort of flesh out some characters and sort of see where they were going, I wrote 2 different versions of this song. One for Ashley's character, who's Ashmarob, and Ashmarob. I don't know how you want me to pronounce that portmanteau. Ashmarob with the rolled R.
We talked about double R's earlier,
Yeah.
in one of our earlier streams.
And so that one, we'll take you over to lyrics now, because I have both of them, is The Pledge of the Unbroken Ocean. And that one is... Whoop, there we go.
A certifiable bop.
Nope, it's not picking up the right window. Okay.
Nope.
You know what?
Well.
Cha-ching. Cha-ching. We'll just move it. We'll just move it. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Oh, well.
All right. So this one is The Pledge of the Unbroken Ocean. And when we were sort of putting it together, Ashley and I were talking about her character. Ashley is playing a cleric. And it started out as, this is a one-shot, and my god told me to be here. And then very quickly went to, why the fuck am I actually here? So we were talking about Ashley's god and sort of expanding what it is, and I put in not a character. I put in a deity called Baknawa, who is a large number of things, up to and also including. She's known as a number of like very different names. So the story of her lore, for the most part, is she is a kraken serpent. So it's like a serpent kraken hybrid thing. And she is said to be right, you know,
Big
like
mood.
goals.
Big mood.
So she is said to be the one who turns the world. Basically, the sort of practice around her, she is the one who reaches up and with her body her tentacles sort of takes hold of the sun or the moon and all of the stars in the heavens and turns them around the world, sort of on a dive. Like, so her dive across the horizon is the one that turns the whole world off on its cycle from night to day.
What a cool thing you just made. I mean, like, John's not going to give himself credit for the cool shit he does, so here we are in this, as we've established, enabling ass household. That's a fucking cool thing!
Thank you. All right, so now here's the parts that are where I stole from various other properties. So she is, the names I chose for her were the Great Mother, the Bearded Lady, the Infinite Gyre. Both of those are the last two of which are basically just from Wizards of the Coast, and the First Motion. She, like, as in the motion that turns the world. And so, yes.
So you mean to say, she's the motion of the ocean?
Yeah, good. I'm glad you got that. Yes.
Good.
Yes. That one was one's absolutely just a Hairspray reference. So that being said, what she demands of her clerics is to be the motion that turns the world, to chase your dreams, to encourage those to explore, to seek, to move, and to sort of seek what it is you are supposed to do, whatever that may be. It doesn't necessarily have to involve, traveling or adventuring, but it is to pursue what it is you want to pursue without hesitation. And a couple other things like that just randomly happen. She's also she's the deity that sailors will tithe money to. In the ocean, they'll usually just toss like a piece of copper or something. Usually not a lot, but just enough to pay homage to her, to request safe passage on what is ostensibly her ocean.
Like, right? A big wishing well.
Yeah, like a big wishing well of, please don't break our ship.
We wish we wouldn't die.
We would wish to be able to keep on wishing, is kind of where it goes. So the Pledge of the Unbroken Ocean is now, the reason why we did two songs is I wrote this one to sort of flesh out Ashley's, or Rowan Saltspear is her character. I wrote it to flesh out Rowan's religion and sort of the tenets of Bakunawa's worship, and that's where the Pledge of the Unbroken Ocean came from. This one is for Rowan. We wrote it as this is sort of a song that all of the initiates to Bakunawa's clerics ranks sort of learn as sort of a mnemonic device to remember the things they are supposed to do as clerics of this deity, but also as a song that they can sing sort of as either motivation or story, or, you know, if they need to break out something at the end of the night to remind people, you know, whose ocean this is, and to remember that, you know, the story will end, and at the end of the day, like, you will be guided to the unbroken ocean, which is our metaphor for, which is the metaphor for, like, the afterlife in terms of this religion. And then in the completely other direction, we have Undersea River, which I actually need to change because Josh and I are talking about lyrics, and we were talking about things that are easy for singers to sing.
Constant edits.
Yeah, given is not an easy thing for people to sing. So it is, sort of, but caveat to that is it adds an extra syllable into the line. You'll see folk songs sort of do this occasionally where they'll toss an extra syllable in. So if you look at Pledge of the Unbroken Ocean, right, the end line is, "And she'll guide us with waves from the unbroken ocean," which is, you can sort of, it has that little dip to the "and." Given is a little harder because it has an extra consonant in it, so it cuts it off a little bit faster. So you get "given way to the flow of the Undersea River," which works.
It works
Most of the time. But
it works.
It's not nice.
I think as well as, especially, like, there's something about this one that, like, short and concise.
Yeah.
Is a stronger move. They're
Sure.
both valid.
And so what the kind of where we're having is, because of that, right, is like, when we're looking at it from a lyrical standpoint, "Given Way" is a functional lyric. However, because these two songs are placed in opposition, not opposition, but in context of each other, where Pledge of the Unbroken Ocean is a very human song that uses, you know, fun words like squatters and, like, dying and blissful and blind, like dumb alliteration, just as a reminder and mnemonic device. That kind of given apostrophe sort of, what the heck is that called? Eliding? No, I don't remember. But the point is that kind of vowel drop at the end is a much more
like
suitable...
truncating the word.
Yeah, like a truncation, yeah. Is a much more suitable concept for this song in particular. And it doesn't quite work so well for Undersea River, which is a must...
Apoccupation. Cool. Thank you, Ashley.
Now I know, apoccupation. But it suits it. It suits Pledge of the Unbroken Ocean significantly more than it suits Undersea River. So originally, when I wrote this was Gives. Given was Gives, and I think we'll go back to that, I think. Now, when you do this, remember, because the way of, you know, lyrics work, this changes all of the grammatical structure of every verse, right? So something giving way is a much different verb than something gives way, because give it, you know, given is a much more sort of flexible verb in the way, where that gives is a much more present tense, has to happen now-ish kind of thing.
Which feels more like Typhysea.
Yeah. So, Typhysea, for those of you at home who have no idea who the fuck we're talking about,
which is fair.
I
made her up
because Josh made her up. Typhysea was originally Josh's warlock patron.
My warlock Patreon.
Your warlock Patreon. You don't want that with the relationship you had. No,
you don't.
So, she was originally Josh's character Xander's Patreon. We're just gonna call it that now.
Yep.
Because now it's in my brain. You absolute shit. And the sort of the same thing happened with Xander as it did with Rowan, where we were like, "This is a one shot." Whoa! Who the actual fuck is this?
Well, I was like, I've literally never played a warlock in my life. And it's a one-shot, so why don't I just be a warlock? And then it turned into a full-ass campaign, and I went, oh, no.
Oh, crap.
It's an extra $5 a month is the Patreon for 2 Eldritch Blasts. If you go to 10, you get 3 a turn. It just goes up. That's our Patreon.
Yeah. And then 5 and then starts at 1 because we started at early level, and then like once you hit then you hit like 10 and it's 2, and then 15 is 3, and 20 is 4. Yeah. And then you get you can subscribe extra dollars a month on top of that cost to get access to your notifications. Pretty easy.
For $100 a month, you can just spirit bomb. I know it's not from this game, but we're just gonna take it.
All right. So at $100, you stop playing D&D and go play like Big Eye Small Mouth instead. I guess.
Just start playing Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. All right.
Right, Dragon Ball Z tabletop game? I'm sure there is.
I don't think. Yeah, actually, I'm pretty sure there is. I just don't think it's any
Dragon
good.
Ball Z tabletop RPG.
Okay, so we're gonna do find and replace, which is the single best thing you can do in a document. So we'll go back to gives way to the flow, and like I said, our lives give way. Well, that's easy. So remember that I was mentioning this changes the construction of all of my sentences, so now I have to change them all.
Sorry.
You're good. So we'll drop down in darkness, our lives with a shiver, given way to the flow. Okay, gives way to the flow doesn't work. Lives do not gives way, they give way.
You can just say give.
That's easy. So you just chop an S off, right? Simple. The wind will blow cold like the last dying whisper gives way. That sort of doesn't work.
No, like the last dying whisper gives way to the flow of the Undersea River. That works.
Yeah, it does. It works if you say the whole sentence straight. It's the extra block in the middle that changes the sentence context, which is a little awkward. So, like, it does work. But I'm gonna have to think about it because it doesn't work great. Her love and her light, the harsh glare of winter gives way. That works fine. So if I just take the like out, that actually just works. I think that worked the exact same way. No, it doesn't, because will blow.
We need one more.
So this is the problem where it is. So this one, her love and her light, comma, the harsh glare of winter, comma, gives way to the flow of the Undersea River, is a perfectly legitimate sentence. The reason why it works is that the verb is over here, which means I need to get rid of this verb over here to make this sentence work functionally.
Blow cold, the last dying whisper. Okay. I'm going to constantly just quietly sing these to make sure I can make them work.
Yeah. No, that's totally fair. That's what I do, is I'll sit back and I'll sing the whole song once I've done it. That doesn't work. Our hearts, semicolon, our gold and our silver give way. Boom.
Of our hearts, our gold and our silver.
Yeah, that works. Okay. This works, I know, because I made that. That's a complete sentence. Oh, cold as the last dying whisper. There we go. That works. Ha! Nailed it. Is that a not nailed it?
No, you're good. It was just I'm also editing I have lyrics already written in the like 2 verses that I have, so I'm just making sure I can shift the notes as you do it, and we'll flip to that to look at it in a second.
Yep. Okay. So for we'll talk about lyrics for a hot minute.
Yeah.
But so the construction of this is really simple. In Pledge of the Unbroken Ocean, this is about all of the tenets of the Great Mother. So we do this thing where we ting all of her sobriquets where we can. So the Bearded Lady shows up here, which is hysterical because it has an overlap with another thing that I will mention in a second. The Infinite Gyre, which is right here. The Great Mother, which is here. And then a lot of references to motion because that's her whole thing, right? So all of these are just do these things and you will be a good cleric of Bakunawa. It's great. There's not a whole lot to say about that necessarily, but it is just it's just kind of there. It's
just good.
It's a fun one to sing, is what I'll say. This song is really fun to sing. Now the Undersea River, on the other hand.
Now you talk to him about it while I answer this phone call from the mechanic working on my car.
Fair. I did not know that, Ashley, so that's hysterical. Honestly, there we go. So, Typhysea is... Her super K is the Lady of the Deep Reefs. And... No, not the Deep Reefs. Fucking... web captioner. Deep Reef! There you go. The Lady of the Deep Reef! Oh, I got wave. I don't know how that... Alright, well, anyway, moving on. So, Typhysea is the Lady of the Deep Reefs. She is a... It's not necessarily known, and none of the players at this point know, so I'm not going to tell them here. Whether or not she is a deity in and of herself, or an aspect / caretaker of an actual deity's domain, or just a really powerful fae, but what they do know at this point is she has some authority over the circle of death and rebirth, the deep oceans, and the cycle of existence. She is usually... Hey, Lamau. She's portrayed usually as dualities in personality. She is light and shadow, loving and cruel, warm and cold, life and death. She is also Xander's mom. Now, prior to this on the campaign, Xander was under the impression that she wasn't actually his mom, but like his stepmom, which was a lie.
I'm back. What did I miss?
Which was our clocks by. I don't know what that means. Which was a lie. Oh, I was telling them about how Typhysea is actually your mom, and you just found that out.
Yeah. Sorry. Totally unrelated. That was the nicest mechanic that has ever called me.
Hey, there we go.
He was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, our other mechanic walked off, so we can't look at your car. But we'll get it worked on by Monday. But because of the inconvenience, I'm going to pay for your oil change and your new wiper blades.
Well, there you go.
So anyways, back to my
Back
mom.
to your mom. Back to my hunch. So... yeah, so I was just saying that y'all have some idea that she's powerful. You're not exactly sure what extent that is just yet. Xander might know after the time skip, but we have to talk about that later.
Xander definitely knows after the time skip, but that's a different
thing entirely. So yeah, so she's mostly portrayed as dualities and cycles. So for this one, I went with you can sort of see it. It's not particularly subtle. It's got every season mentioned in the first 4 verses, as sort of to represent the cycle of what is of life and time. Fun fact, just quick random fact note. I think the 4th verse is Josh's favorite.
It absolutely is. It's such a good verse.
It's very good.
I don't know. Have we mentioned? So did we talk about Xander's drastic change in character?
We have not. I was going to let you talk about that since it's your character.
Yeah. So the reason that this really came off, because like we said, Warlock just wasn't doing it for me. And the cool thing, I mean, if you're playing a tabletop game with a really great DM and some good friends, like you can change shit and make shit work. And in this case, I paid a high enough Patreon to the Lady of the Deep Reefs, and she allowed me to change classes. So now he's a druid, because that seems more fun to me. But I also couldn't find a good druid, subclass circle, so I've been writing my own. And it is the Circle of the Deep Reefs, with a specific focus on magic pertaining to water, and also necromancy. Because Xander's been through some shit, and he's all about life and death now, which is where this kind of seasonal idea came from in this particular piece.
Yeah. And also, the 5th verse is me stabbing another knife into my party. Because the last thing that happened is they were trying to save somebody who had been taken by spoopy fish monsters. And one of our party members made a deal with Typhysea.
Shouldn't make a deal with my mom.
Yep. And Typhysea specifically said, I will help you within my capacity, and I will show you where the person that you're looking for is. She did do those things. Just not in a particularly helpful way for that exact moment that they were trying to do, which isn't technically her fault. don't make deals with the Fae. But
don't make deals with the Fae.
Yeah, that
Nightbot, leave Ashley
Nightbot,
alone.
boo,
boo.
Hold on, I'm getting.
Well, I just like keeping Nightbot on so we can actively boo it anytime someone tries to do something.
I want to know what the 14 messages were now. I'm pretty sure it's just 14 angry emojis.
It's probably just more angry emojis. Yeah.
Fair. So, the last verse, which the fifth verse there, which is the lady has not but politeness to give. I don't know what key I'm in, for she knows at the end that she'll surely outlive the anger of those who just can't forgive her. Gives way to the flow of the Undersea River. Is me just...
you were in the exact right key, by the way.
Hell, nailed it.
Nailed it.
That's me stabbing my party because Typhysea will outlive all of them for the most part. And
that
so
we know.
That you know of. Unless she, dies. But she mostly... Like, the fact that she is an emissary of a cycle of this thing that is static and fixed means that she does her job. It's not emotion. There's no emotion behind it. It's just the way things are. And so she's very cordial and very polite about it. Even in the face of...
Are you seeing the distinctions between the two pieces?
Yeah.
One's more of a, hey, let's pray to our God, and she's going to be really great and help us. The other one's like, shit happens.
Shit happens. God is dead.
God is dead. Shit happens. Xander's a nihilist.
Wow, that one's actually get off the stage. That's so good.
Wow. Nightbot's a narc.
Wow, 600 seconds? Wow, I'm changing.
600 seconds.
Okay, we're changing that. Hold up. Nightbot, what the fuck?
All Nightbots are bad.
All Nightbots are bad.
We're watching this happen live. Just
yeah. Working on it. Uno momento, s'il vous plaît. Whoa, what do you... No, I don't want that. Wait. This is being stupid. Hold on. Log in. Spam protection. Nexus symbols. Fucking stop that shit. Disable. Alright, I'm just gonna disable the stuff.
Free my homie Ash.
I'm just gonna disable the stuff that is dumb. Alright, cool. So that's knock that off, Nightbot. Okay, so anyway, so the contrast between the two is that Bakunawa is joyous and exulting in the cycle and the turning of the world. It is something that is brought about by the motion of those who follow her and those who follow her. Man, not cool. I like Nickelback.
I'm so sorry.
So, so Bakunawa is about the joy and the exultation in the movement of the cycle, whereas Typhysea is about the cycle is enduring and doesn't care whether or not you like it or not. It's just going to happen, and you can choose to move with it or be left behind as it turns. So, we got, the happy, frat one, and then the sad, depressed goth one, and you can tell which is going on between those two characters. Well, that's not true. Rowan had a hot moment for a minute, and that pledge was at the start, that she would have learned is at the start of when she was doing. I don't know if he believes in it nowadays. We'll talk about that later. But...
yeah, and even if she does believe in it, shit happens to happy people.
Shit does happen to happy people. And so this is the kind of thing that I was doing when I wrote these two different versions of them. But that's been 40 minutes of me talking about lyrical construction. You want to bounce it over to see what Josh has been working on.
Let's bounce
It's a lot.
It is. I'm going to share my page.
Alrighty. Well, I'm going to bounce us to
my page is shared.
Sibliblius when we get hot at it. Why is that so small all of a sudden? Alright. Maximize!
It's me!
I had to maximize.
Ha ha! It's going to be a little smaller, and the reason for that, and I'll just take you through what I've done so far, is because there's a lot of notes and lines.
Fair, honestly.
So I've written out already just the first 2 verses of Undersea River, and I'm working on Xander's version, so my character's version in our game, because, well, it's mine, so it's easier for me to work on. The upside to the other one belonging to Ash is that Ash is my partner, and so they're in the house, and we can just talk about what she wants for these things. But that's going to be a whole different thing. We'll get to that. So this is an a cappella piece, and like we had said earlier, a cappella basically just means a piece with only voices as the instruments. It's easy to do with most shanties because most shanties were made to be sung on a ship without instruments, so you could sing and work or drink and all these sorts of things. This one, as you heard, has that kind of guitar, that really like folksy, lovely guitar background to it that I don't have and I can't play, so I'm not putting it in. So here we are with voices only, and this was a really hard kind of hump to get over, to kind of figure out how we're going to make it work. So why don't I just play the first 2 verses and we see where we're at. I'm not in love with everything, but I think it's a good start. Make sure the mixer's good, the baritone solo is the highest. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so you want to hear it?
Let's do it!
This is John's first time hearing it as well.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Let me know if it comes through.
Yep.
That's where we're at so far.
Nice.
It's a bop. I love this piece.
There's some moving in there. I dig it.
Yes.
My question, the first thing I noticed is, I noticed there was a stylistic choice to have the baritone solo holding those notes at the end of phrases, moving into the next one.
Yeah.
While everyone else has the 8th note in the stop, right?
Where are we looking at specifically?
So, like, let me see what the first. Let me see if I can find the first example of it. Is verse 2 starts right at the end of measure, right at the start of measure. The frack is it?
20?
Yeah, and near the end of measure 20 there, where everyone drops on the 8th rest.
Yeah.
This
is just kind of a placeholder while I figure out what's going to get held over and how it's going to work.
Yeah, because I like the way I'm listening to it now is, I kind of like the droning of the other lines continuing on for a second while the baritone drops out to come back in.
I think it's just the reason it's written like that right now is just because initially my brain said, oh God, they need to breathe.
That's fair. I mean, that's super reasonable.
And then my brain did that because I will also admit, I didn't go to sleep last night because I had to bring my car into the garage at 8 a.m. And my brain was like, you'll be more awake if you just don't sleep. So I didn't. And I wrote this at like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Fair. Also,
so my brain went,
Clariday
read.
just said a thing that I think you need to read.
I read it.
Okay, good.
It's fine. 2 of the characters can breathe underwater now, and the 3rd has the cloak of the manta ray. We're fine.
Yup. So... Okay, one thing I really want to call out, because Josh and I got in a fight over this, like a week ago. If you all notice, Josh, if you want to play it real quick, you'll notice that the little numbers at the end of each measure change like every 20 seconds.
Yeah. I don't even have to play it. You can just look at this. You can just
look at it.
Look at this page.
So let's talk about rhythm and meter for a minute. All right, we're going to diverge into extreme music nerd territory. So if at some point, if you lose us, I'm going to try and explain it because I'm dumb, and therefore will explain it like an idiot, and hopefully that'll set up Josh to explain what I just said afterwards with actual betterness.
And if at any point you're like, the fuck, just say something in the chat, and we will clarify gladly.
So the way meter and rhythm works in sheet music specifically, actually, Josh, if you want to jump back to the first page so I can show them.
Sure.
So if you
I will say this is the only piece that's not in 69 because it's not in 4/4.
Yeah, that's okay. I feel like this piece in specific deserves to not have the shit post of 69 on it because it's way too goddamn pretty for that.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, Xander a freak.
Yeah. I mean, we could put it there. We really could. It would just require a lot of finagling.
I will say there's a little hidden gem in there.
Oh.
And that the entire piece is 96 measures long.
Beautiful.
So it's a little gentle homage.
Okay. So,
yes.
If you'll notice sort of right here, folks, there's a 6/8 here, and everything else we've done at this point I think has been in 4/4.
Yes, it has.
Yep. And so the way that works is when you're looking at a piece of sheet music, the meter here will tell you, the top part will tell you how many beats there are in a measure, which is, you know, line to line. And then the bottom half will tell you what specific kind of note will get those beats. So in a 4/4, you get 4 beats a measure, and those beats are specifically the quarter note, which is the one that looks like we don't actually. No, we don't. Do we have a regular quarter note in here somewhere that isn't dotted?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me find it.
Okay. If worst comes first, I'll just say the thing with. I'll say it's this thing, but without a dot.
Right here in this.
So this da right here in the tenor 2 line is the closest is a quarter note. So that is, and it's all about subdivisions of notes, right? So
this is a great page. It has lots of them on it. So
perfect. So this a whole note is a note you hold for the end. It's like basically 4 whole notes you hold in the whole thing. A half note is 2 of those things. Quarter note is 4. 8 is 8, and it sort of splits up from there.
And this is Western.
Classical music.
Classical, especially though Western American, because when you get to like England, it changes what these are all called, and you have semi-demi quavers and all these wild words. So this is the like standard American classical.
Yeah, semi-demi. Jesus fuck, I hate those.
I know.
Like I get it, but also so, and then you get like. The dot is basically that note times 1.5, essentially. So, for example, a quarter note is 1 beat. A dotted quarter note is 1.5 beats at that point. If you're in 4/4 time specifically, because that's 4 quarter notes in 4 beats. This piece is in 2 time signatures that alternate to fill in gaps in the lyrical in like the construction of it. It starts. It's primarily in some form of something over 8, and the 8 is an 8th note, which means that there is that many 8th notes in a beat. It's a good chunk of the time is in 6/8, which is 6 8th notes, which if you're counting it out kind of goes like 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 and Well, you just might go, but Jonathan, math class taught me that if you take a fraction that is twice as big as another fraction, like 6/8, well, then you can reduce it down to 3/4, and it's the same fraction. And it's like, that is correct, but also fuck you. That's not how this works in music. The way it works...
Boo math, yay music.
Boo math, yay music. No. Also, yay math.
You can quote me.
Also, yay math. You're gonna need it. For this stuff. It's basically, once you get it, it's essentially like music is math when you boil down to it. But
don't say that. That hurts
is
my brain and my heart.
Writing music is math. Performing it is something different entirely.
If Ash weren't still blocked by Nightbot.
So the way this functions is that a 3/4 time is like 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And that you see 3/4 time, which is, the expansion of that, is what you see a lot in things like waltzes and sort of your standard, traditional any kind of fantasy waltz whatsoever. 6/8 time is technically the same length of time as a 3/4 measure, but the emphasis on what note falls where is different. So you get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 1, 2, and it sort of follows this like it turns the sort of the it's got this bit of like a bit of a interesting like a back and forth lilt to it. So if you get like 1, 2, 3, it's always going to alternate. But if you do if you're on 6/8, it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You get a bit of like a weird sort of jumpy lilt to it that I personally really fucking love. And then there's this fucking piece.
Haha, which goes, you think you know me? Fuck you!
Yeah. So it starts out with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It starts out in 6/8. And I'm gonna bring you to the lyrics real quick so y'all can see what we're doing. Because I think that'll show you kind of a little bit. Whoops, that's my Twitter. Heyo. We'll show you a little bit of what we mean. So Undersea River's first verse, right, goes, when ice melts in spring and the flowers do bloom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shit, there's more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, that's not right. Hold on. Wait a minute.
What is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Nope, that's not it.
That's not it. So what this does is, for emphasis, it does 6. So it does what is called a time change, which it will switch your meter in the middle of the song and then jump. So Undersea River takes place in what we like to call 6/8/3/8 fuck you repeating. Where it'll do 6/8/3/8 for the first 3 lines, and then I think it does 6/8/6/8/6/8.
It does essentially switch between. Actually, you know what? Here's a great way to look at it without all these notes. If you switch back to me,
alrighty, I'll bounce it back to you.
I will show you.
Oh yeah,
this
it does
blank
that.
Page. Right here is that blurry? Am I crazy? Did we get blurry? No? Okay. Well,
no.
So down here on this far left side is where the new verse starts. So it's in 6/8. It picks up, but the verse starts officially here. It goes 6/8/3/8 6/8, 6/8/3/8 6/8, 6/8/3/8 6/8, 6/8/3/8 6/8. Then between the verses we have a bar of 6/8, and then it starts again.
Yeah.
So it's this really. I had to, because I hate myself apparently, go through and had to sing and hum the tune in my head as I put in all of these for the entirety of the song. That's right, the whole thing has been pre-written. This is a big 6/8 break that happens at some point.
Yep.
So that was a murder for myself. I hurt myself doing that pretty badly.
So in case you're wondering what it sounds like, if you're singing Undersea River, if you're looking at the lyrics, I'll sing Josh's favorite verse, so that way we can get verse 4. It's great. It goes, as cycles turn round for the ones who are living, the lady will be there with a smile unforgiving. Her love and her light, the harsh glare of winter, gives way to the flow of the Undersea River. And so, melodically, as a thing, without the words, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. No, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just like, oh my god, why?
I'm really enjoying your caption.
God bless web captioner trying to keep up with that. But yeah, so the verses are all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it's 6. On the 6 it picks up into the next one, and it's just like, ah!
So this was the crux of our argument, was trying to figure out what fucking time signature this was in.
Yup.
Because at first when I heard it, I went, it's in 3. And then John was like, no, it's in 6. And I listened to it again, and I was like, shit, you're right. And then John was like, it's 6/8 and then 9/8. And it's alternating 6/8, 9/8. And I went, great. And then I listened to it again, and I went, oh god, no. It's 6/8, 3/8, 6/8. And what that means, and the reason that 6/8 and 9/8 are different, even though they're the exact same number of eighth notes, is that it will dictate where our downbeats are. And so downbeats in the music are those strong beats of the measure. It's the first beat of the measure. So like it's our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as opposed to 6/8, 9/8, which would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, which doesn't fit the flow of the song.
Yep.
And, you know, because you hear it in, oh gosh, I'm gonna hurt myself by trying to sing this in 6/8, 9/8 to just see how it would go.
Oh god, good luck.
I'm gonna have to do some things in my head.
I did it in my brain. It was easier to parse it as 9/8, 6/8, because then it's
9/8 then 6/8.
Yeah, because the one long unbroken phrase followed by the 6/8 beat, which is essentially what the 6/8, 3/8, 6/8 does, but with a difference in the downbeat.
So that would be, when ice melts in spring and the flowers do bloom, we'll walk from the shadows and into the gloom.
Yeah.
We'll offer our hearts, our gold, and our silver. Give way to the flow of the Undersea River. Which is nice.
Sort of works.
It's sort of right. But when we get this new emphasis on the 3/8 measure, it does two things. The first thing it does is it drives the piece forward. There's a sense of forward motion in the piece because it's throwing you off with that 3/8 measure and keeping you're constantly moving forward. The second thing it does is it recreates the feeling of waves. It's this crashing wave constantly going over and over again. So you get, instead, when ice melts in spring and the flowers do bloom, we'll walk from the shadows and into the gloom. We'll offer our hearts, our gold, and our silver. Give way to the flow of the Undersea River. So it gives, all of a sudden we've got this piece that you go, ooh, like, ooh, what's that? Who is she? You know, it keeps the piece interesting, and it keeps these downbeats active, as opposed to it's not a passive piece at all. This piece is constantly moving, much like the Undersea River, and like this is Typhysea's whole thing. Like it just keeps going. And so that's kind of where we settled. And then it was a matter of like, well, when do they break from that? And when do they take a couple extra measures? And blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
That was exhausting, but we figured it out.
Yeah. So this is like I said, it is a deceptively tricky piece because if you're not trying... So if you were just... Actually, what I kind of love about Ashes is that it is a deceptively tricky song to write down. Mm-hmm. But it's a really easy song to sing at somebody and they understand how it works. Because, the rhythm, because of the way you sing it, is built into the lilt of the song, and someone can follow along and listen. It's just when you go to write it down and actually see what they're doing, you're just like, ha! It's like when you like you get in a car and you drive it, you're like, great, and then the minute something goes wrong, you open it up and you're like, oh god, I don't know what any of this does. Then you close the hood and call a mechanic.
Oh wow, all right, pointed, John. Pointed.
Sorry, the metaphor was in my brain.
That's fair. But and so like huge kudos to The Longest John for this piece, because this piece slaps. Like, it's so good. The original Ashes is just incredible because we were able to sit and listen to it over and over again and not for a second realize how complex the rhythm was, because it just works in your brain when you hear it. You don't question what's happening.
Speaking of which, there's a link to Ashes because I forgot to do that. But
also, it's been an hour, so let's go ahead and talk about bring up the petitions and the Tiltify again real quick. If you're just joining us or if you've been with us, we're going to mention it again anyways because it's important. John, do you want to throw the links in there?
Yeah, I will take care of that if you want to keep talking.
Yeah, so the first thing we've got, I'm just going to see kind of which one pops in first.
Oh, I was going to say, you keep talking and I'll put it in.
Oh, cool.
I got I'm on you. I got you.
Oh, bless you. So that will pop up in a second there it is. We have a Tiltify campaign going on. For how long are we doing it? For another week now? Another couple weeks?
Yeah. I think it's the end of, I think it's our end of next stream on the 27th, so we'll have that.
Yeah, okay. So at the end of next stream, we have a campaign directly donating funds to the Bail Project, which exists to help give bail to people that are, imprisoned or sent to jail for whatever reason and can't afford bail because the bail system is inherently flawed. It exists to help get them out, take care of those fees that are associated. We are running a little raffle giveaway right now. We've hit our first goal, which was just at $50. We're currently at $130. Basically, if you donate $10 or more, you're going to get put into a raffle drawing. And at the end of the campaign, we are going to pull out a name, and that person is going to get a customized shanty for their game or their character or themselves or, I don't know, their mom's birthday, like whatever you want. We're going to give you this cool-ass shanty that we'll probably make live on stream for you. Our next goal for that is 250. If we get to 250, that would be fantastic. And we're going to do a second drawing. So 2 people are going to get custom shanties for that. The other thing we've got going is a list of important petitions that are active now and related to specifically the Black Lives Matter movement and everything that's going on. So we have Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, we got Floyd, we have all these different petitions that are up to just keep awareness going on and let people know that, it's hard for me to talk about this because it's very personal, but it sucks. We're not a fan of what's happening in the world right now. And the blatant abuse of power from the police and the government and things like that. So if you have a second and want to sign one of these petitions, we'd be eternally grateful. If you want to donate to this fund, we'd be eternally grateful. But that being said, money is hard to come by, especially in quarantine. And we understand that you might not be in a financial place to give right now, but you still want to donate your time or your resources. Share the campaign, tell a friend about it, sign the petition. It costs you 0 cents to sign the petition. Let people know that it exists. You don't have to be on the front lines to make a difference, and that's what we are doing here, is having fun together, but also using this platform as a way to raise awareness. So if you want to sign those or you want to donate, we would be eternally grateful. We'll probably talk about it again at like the 2-hour mark, but we're going to get back into it now. And thank you for letting me stumble over my words as I'm undercaffeinated and underslept.
There's a whole metaphor there about being tired.
Yep.
I'm gonna leave it at that, because it's exhausting, but it's an important thing to do, and that's why we're doing it. On a slightly on a slightly happier question mark note,
as happy as this one gets.
As happy as we get. Even the song is depressing. But one thing I'd like to do is, because I know like there's a couple people who have joined us. Thank you for doing so. Thank you for taking a little some time out of your day to come hang out with us as we nerd out about music. But I want to know like what your musical backgrounds are, if you have any. Like did you do show choir? Are you here because you know either one of us and you're helping us support out? There's a whole bunch of people who did that. Thank you very much. But like, I'm curious what your musical background is. What kind of music do y'all like? Do all those kinds of things. So, if you all want to do that, you can throw that in the chat. And if you care, if you want to hear more about that, Josh and I will inevitably start talking about it probably as we move on through things, because
1000% will. Because we did not even introduce ourselves today. We were so tired, we went straight into it. I'm just realizing
you're right
now.
Yeah, that's a good point. We can do that later. That's fine.
Yeah, no, we'll do it at the end. But like we both have like similar and different musical backgrounds that have brought us to this place.
Yeah.
And it's really cool that these two thick boy musical nerds who did completely different things growing up ended up at the same place.
It's a really fun, interesting fact there. If you trace back where we were for the last several years, Josh and I have probably been at like a good 5 minutes of each other at multiple conventions, and just didn't know each other existed yet, which I find personally hysterical, because the world is fucking tiny.
I mean, it's hilarious. It's literally the same thing with my partner. We were in the same tiny town in Italy 2014 together, and we probably sat down at the same dinner table, but neither of us knew the other person existed.
Life is weird like that sometimes.
Yep,
for sure.
So back to our super fun happy song.
It's not super fun happy song. Oh, I mean, we could switch to the super fun happy song if you wanted, but since we've got a couple of new people sort of just popped in, I wanna let's just play the thing again so y'all can hear it.
Yeah, let's play the thing again.
I know Danny. I think Danny just meandered in. So hello, Danny. How you doing? We're talking about Ashes, which is a sea shanty written by the Longest Johns that we rewrote and are arranging for 4-part and solo a cappella. So here you go, because you just popped in and I want to hear it again because it's pretty.
Thanks. Yeah.
That's so good.
I love it. So I was telling John before we started the stream that initially, as John and I both tend to do, is we were like, yeah, let's make this crazy. Let's do tons of things. Let's make it a big piece. I originally had it for like soprano, alto, tenor solo, baritone, bass, and then I put it all together. I spent like 2 hours getting the first 2 verses together for today, and then I listened to it and I went, this is garbage. And I deleted the whole thing and started from scratch. Oh. And I think it came down to what I wanted to hear for this particular piece. So if you'll notice, this piece uses tenor, baritone, and bass. And I said it at the beginning, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it for the rest of my life. These are not gendered terms. They just mean the lower voices. If you can sing it, you can sing it. I'm not restricting this piece to it. It is not a male a cappella piece. If you can sing it, you can sing it. Great. And when we work on, Rowan's, it's going to be a little different, and it's probably going to be set for higher voices or a bigger mix of voices because it's more that jaunty, we're on the ship, let's do the thing. But so that's kind of where I came back to this. I also had to. I said it while I was playing. You write things and then you listen to them and you go, oh, I just stole that from this, didn't I? Because the tenor 2 line, when the second verse starts, goes da 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 da, and I was like, that's
da 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 da. I mean, songs. I heard that and I was like, that's just the Song of Swords, which is appropriate.
But
also, in the words of Hellsing Ultimate Abridged, you cheeky dick waffle.
Hey, you are what you eat. I gotta go. But yeah, so there's these
Oh, that's very good.
You can make an original piece, or you can make or you're making an arrangement. Your brain is just chock-a-block with motifs, which in both like music and literary, it's this idea. It's a musical idea in when we're talking about music. It can be as short as 3 notes or 4 notes. One of the most famous musical motifs in the world comes from a piece that you may not even know the title or the composer, but if I sing it, you've probably heard dun 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 dun. I don't have to sing anymore because people in their heads go dun 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 dun, and that's a motif. Those 4 notes are a motif. It's a musical idea, and that little da 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 is a little motif that my brain went, "Ooh, that'll sound really cool." In contrast with these notes that are just holding, and then I played it and went, "That's fucking Zelda."
Speaking of musical motifs, things if you didn't notice, the opening bar to every verse is another very familiar song.
Yes.
For those of you who are familiar with folk songs, if you listen to "When Ice Melts in Spring and the Flowers Do Bloom," sounds a hell of a lot like
"Going to Scarborough Fair."
Yep. And actually, I think it deviates within the chord structure a little bit, but for the most part, the chords are almost exactly the same. That sort of chord progression across the whole verse.
Oh, I will say that I did find out that this has a very specific chord progression.
Ooh, go nerd, nerd out.
Hold on, I'm gonna break from the norm, and I'm gonna turn my virtual background off. Welcome to my home. Whee! And I'm gonna turn my camera to the piano.
Hell yeah.
This is
Josh's piano corner.
My piano. Her name is Etta, and I love her very much. And you'll probably be able to hear it, but I'm gonna play the chords. It's not Scarborough Fair this time. Hold on, let me scoot by. We've essentially made a quarantine nest in the living room, so pretty much everything I own is down here. Okay, so can you see me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so these are our 4 chords. We have C sharp minor, E major, B major, and then back to C sharp minor. Da, 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 da. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Just
fuck, you're right.
Same fucking chords. And I found it out the other day and I went, ah! So that's my nerdy. Welcome to Josh's Nerdy Piano Corner. It's a new segment we're adding to Shanty Shoppe.
God, that's really good. I hadn't thought about that.
Jolene.
Shit. You're right, just on a different tempo.
Yep.
I love that.
So that's my gift to you.
I love music a lot.
And that is how like our brains straight up like naturally connect music like that, because even if I haven't heard fucking Jolene in ages, in the back of my head it went, yo dog, that's Jolene. Yep.
That's, yeah.
Yep. Okay, say goodbye to my alcohol, tabletop books, music, and board games.
That's just like you in a nutshell, really.
You're not wrong.
So yeah, there you go. So really, this is just Sea Shanty Jolene, which is
well, we're
awesome.
1000% gonna have to do that.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. I don't think it changes that much, honestly.
I don't think it does.
I think it's just that, but like the version Miley Cyrus sang in the backyard sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard that one?
I have.
Okay.
I don't like to think of Miley Cyrus if I can avoid it.
That's kind of fair. I will absolutely give you that for sure. Bye. Good to see you, Danny. Thank you for joining us for a hot minute. So yeah, that's basically that's how music do sometimes. It's ridiculous. So, the one thing that I want to sort of mention here is that we're Josh and I are sort of looking at this thing, and Josh brought up a very good point. People need to breathe.
Yeah.
Because you need to breathe when you're singing. So, the really important point to note there is that the really cool thing about the Herman Durman lines, at least in the opening.
The what?
The Herman Durman lines.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Take it again.
It's the Herman Durman lines. The humming drumming lines. So all that stuff in the beginning sections, for the most part, you can sort of stagger breathe because everyone is sort of like the tenor 1, tenor 2, baritone, and bass are on the same sort of like chord for a good chunk of that time. Mm-hmm. And so you can.
I will say, finish your sentence.
A lot of the tricks you'll see is basically like a lot of the things you'll see a lot for choir direction for something like this will be breathe wherever, just don't breathe at the same time. And that means everyone else has to confusedly look at each other and hope they're not breathing at the same time that they breathed. Which is why if you can write in breath the way Josh is trying to do in the actual piece, it makes it a lot easier.
For everyone.
For everybody.
I will say, with this piece, I'm trying to write it as if I only had 5 voices. Mm-hmm. So stagger breathing gets tricky. The beautiful thing about stagger breathing is, you know, even if you had double the people, right, 10 people singing this, if you have 2 people on a line and they're breathing at different times, the note is always being sung, you know, even when someone breathes. I've written this for 5 people, and it's obviously, looking at it, it is a little trickier than the other shanties that we have, or the other things that we've done so far, because I'm writing it at a, you know, I'm writing it at, like, say, the intermediate level. You know, it's a little more, you know, I know it's going to be harder to sing, but because we've kind of, this one veers off from the traditional, it's a sea shanty, we're all singing it on a boat. I wanted to take the artistic license to make it a little trickier. Also, I have to make the voices be a guitar and also voices at the same time. So it adds a lot more to it. So there's moments where I've written, like, these 3 measures might seem like a long thing to sing, but if you are singing in any regularity, you're working on that breath support to be able to sing that note for the entire time. So in my head, I was like, okay, this is for people who have sing in choir, it doesn't have to be professionally, but sing in choir. You know, this is something that someone sings once a week, you know, can pick up and be like, all right, let's figure this out. But that does bring us into this issue of, I wrote in a breath because I was like, everyone needs to breathe. And then we played it, and I went, oh, all the music stops here.
Yep.
Oops.
Ah, crap, that's a complete empty space right there.
We gotta, you can keep talking about that, but I think that's gonna be our first project here, is to figure out how to change that.
What the heck are we? Measure 20, right?
It really starts at, 15, it's measure 20 is the first one.
Huh. That was only up.
Ooh. So the first change I have in my head is to change those into eighth notes. Da 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 da. So if we're putting these eighth notes in instead of quarter notes, you're getting a bunch of breaths, which means we can do one longer line here because you're going to get breaths again when we get here.
Yep.
Which means I'm naturally putting this in so that people can breathe. Let's see here.
Give your singers a breath, for the love of God.
Let your singers breathe.
Okay.
Let's see here. Da da da. I'm in such a high key now because I don't know why I've done that to myself.
Oops.
Hold on. Let me just listen to what key it's actually in. Oh my god, I'm not. I'm just tired. That's fine. That tracks. So da 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 da. I think that works for that line. So I'm gonna go. Oh, then we'll do ba-da-da. Turn that into a quarter note.
Yeah.
Let me change that for all of those.
Wait a minute,
for
what?
My brain.
Can you play
what's up?
Just play that measure for me again.
Sure. Let me go to measure. What are we? 19. I'm gonna just play it from 17 so we can hear them
That's
all.
fine. I just want to hear the tenor line because I feel like I'm hearing a funky melody in my head and I could be wrong.
It gets a little funky.
Yeah, okay.
Part of me, I know that the piece itself uses this little F natural E sharp. Part of me wonders if we should just make that a natural. And drown in the warmth of the deep lady's grace. Or instead of deep lady's grace, deep lady's grace.
Deeply drown in the hearts of the deep lady's grace. Yeah.
If I make that a... Back.
Yeah.
I actually don't know which one I like more. Thoughts? Anyone?
Down in
Left.
the hearts of the deep lady's grace.
So basically the argument is, do we do deep lady's grace or deep lady's grace?
What if you indulge me for a second? I'm gonna make you do something weird.
I will always indulge
Indulge
you.
me putting the 16th on lay into D instead of D into grace.
You want to go deep lady's grace?
Yeah.
Keeping it simple is also a valid option.
That's true.
Deep. Oh, piss. Hold on. So, deep lay. Nope. Lay. Just gonna try that.
Yeah. Don't know.
Let's find out.
I don't know if that's gonna make something funky, but we'll find out in a hot minute.
Funky is my middle name, not legally.
Fair. Okay, it doesn't change much.
It doesn't change enough for me to justify it, I feel.
Yeah.
Now, the other option is, and this is a good point from Leth, is to keep things simple.
Just to leave it.
And just go, Deep Lady's Grace. Because if the soloist wants to add embellishments, they just can, yeah. But if we keep it simple, then they don't have to worry about it being exact.
Yep. The solo, like, I am not worried about soloists not going in and penciling everything they want into the song anyways, because they will. I've done it enough times myself to know that just happens.
Same Z's. And I mean, like, I literally, like, classical music, like opera, literally exists in a form where they're like, all right, then we're going to repeat it, and then do whatever the fuck you want. And you go, what? And they're like, yeah, just add notes in, like, go crazy. And you add notes in, and they go, but not like that. And I'm like, what?
You said whatever I want.
You just told me I could. Okay, so now let's rewind a little and just listen to the simple.
Because that is absolutely, because that particular embellishment is definitely not the way I sing that line, but that's fine.
Right. Yeah. But that's how they sing it in the original.
Yep.
So, like, sometimes I think I get so stuck to the original that I want to keep it as pure to the original as possible.
Fair.
But we're creating our own version of it.
Yeah,
so,
sometimes
as long
it's
as
just
you
saying,
have
like, futz with it. Do whatever you want.
We've got the skeleton of the original.
Yeah. Do what you want, because all is free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And drown in the warmth of the deep lady's grace.
Yeah, that functions. Why is there a weird line thing on Grace there?
That's because it's giving me the option to input a note now, because that's the next note I was at.
Ah, gotcha.
See,
okay, that's just a cursor. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Gotcha. Yeah, that works. That's fine.
Sibelius being Sibelius. Okay, so we figured out one line.
Uh-huh. Now we've got to add the lock over on the rest. Yeah, the bass line drops out as well.
The bass line and the tenor one line both.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, the baritone line just keeps going because we're just breathing every fucking third.
Yeah, like I'm not worried about the baritones because it's like dum dum dum. Like if you want to breathe, breathe.
Yeah.
And that's another thing is like, you know, when you get into like choral pieces as well.
Yeah.
Like choral directors will be like, yeah, just take a little bit of take a little bit out of that note and breathe.
Yeah,
you know, so I'm not worried.
Chop a section off of that one to stick it like a 16th in there and then breathe.
I will also make sure to put like text in at the beginning to explain how these little notes should be sung. And the reason that they're not, I guess, important distinction, especially for like a cappella music that's imitating instruments, is we use lots of different nonsense words and sounds to try and find the right quality of sound that you're going to get when you sing this. And so, like, you know, right now I have dum 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 da dum 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 da da dum 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 da dum dum dum. That's what we're getting from the bass there. Whereas, like, you know, when we have quicker moves, I'm using da instead because it's an easier vowel. You don't have to close your lips to finish the word like you do on dum, which is why when I have the tenors imitating the guitar lick from the beginning of the piece, the one that goes I've put it in the two tenor lines so that if you listen to them together, it sounds like one continuous line because they are just crisscrossing each other the whole time, which I really like.
I saw that and I was like, oh, they're trading it off the note. That's so cool.
Yeah. So I have the tenor.
Meanwhile, the baritone's bass like dum 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 because, you know,
look, when it comes to acapella music,
it's what we do.
You just got to do it.
Yep. That's what we got sometimes.
So, you know, and I'm using da for that because it's, you know, another two kind of words we use when we talk about music are dark versus light sounds. I'm careful with it when I talk to like young singers about it because it's a whole different thing in the classical world of singing. Yeah. But in this idea, we would consider a darker sound. It's kind of in the mouth. It resonates in the mouth with that closed lip. You get that buzz from the dum. Whereas da 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 is a lot brighter. It sits more forward in the mouth. And when we say like forward and back, this is kind of that placement where it buzzes in your mouth when you sing. Da is brighter because it's just this open mouth sound. It's all coming out. Because your mouth is open, it's going to sound louder and brighter. I mean, it's just how sound works. So for the tenor one line, we have da 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 da, while the tenor twos go da 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 da, and I'll actually bring it back to what is that? 15, 14. We'll put it on measure 13, and I'm going to mute everything except the two tenor lines. Whee! I figured out how to do this.
Hey, check that out.
I know, I'm growing every day.
You know? Sometimes that's all life is a process of learning.
Truth. Great. And so this is what those two will sound like. So they're passing that melody off to each other. So when you listen to it in the piece, it sounds like one continuous melody.
Yeah.
Which is good and I like.
Also, just indulge me if you will. For those of you who want to know why I was bitching at Josh about baritones and basses, if you would play the baritone and bass for that, just for me, please, so people can see why you'll always see the baritones and basses get the short ends of the stick. And it's a reason. It's easier to hear our voices singing certain notes as they resonate through. And
excuse me.
We have to live with it sometimes.
Yep. Were we proper shantying, I would admit it'd be different. But when you're trying to imitate the low sounds of instruments, you get...
We're cellos. That's basically it.
Yeah! What? Okay. But then you get a little fun.
It is a very rare song where the bass line has more movement than the baritone, and I can appreciate that. Now, on the other hand, I'm bitching about this, but as a baritone, it makes singing in choirs really easy because you almost never have more than 3 notes to worry about. And it's great, actually, if you're trying to learn that thing.
Yeah.
But also, it does mean you've probably finished learning it before everyone else, and you have to listen to, like, the tenors fuck up every now and then and be like, wasn't us.
Yeah.
We had, like, 2 notes to worry about, and we nailed them.
And meanwhile, the tenors are like, fuck, what is this?
They're crisscrossing and passing off melodies. What is happening?
I'm in the back of the room just like, suffer.
I can do it, so can you.
Yeah, that's also, like... Another hard part about like writing music for other people is I cannot come at it at the lens of, well, I can sing this. Because, like, to be fair, yeah, I have a master's degree in it. And I've been doing it my whole life. But, like, the people that I want to sing it are people that enjoy music, but don't necessarily have to have gone to music school to be able to enjoy it.
We want people to enjoy our music and be able to sing it without having to straddle themselves with a life-shattering amount of debt.
And I like to sing tenor 2 in choir, which is why the tenor 2 line ended up being the most, like, moving.
That's why the tenor 2 slaps.
Like, listen, if you ever are looking at music written by certain composers, find out what it... Happy Solstice!
Whoop whoop!
Whoop whoop! Where my witch is at?
I need that on a clip.
I love you, witch. I ain't never gonna stop loving you. But yeah, if you like find music that like really slaps by composers, like I'm talking like music within the, especially like classical music or modern music for the stage or orchestra, figure out what instrument that composer plays or what they've done before, and then go back and listen for that instrument in the composition.
Yeah.
Because it will do things usually way more than the other, or not way more. It'll utilize the instrument the best out of everything, because they're like, well, I play this, like I know how this works the best.
Yep. And the specifically for really like, you know, like conscientious composers. Okay, fun story about the Magic Flute. So in the original Magic Flute, in the original run of it, there were 2 roles that were basically meant to be played by stand-up comedians and not by actual singers so much. Those were Papageno and I believe Monostatos is the other one. So if you listen to the instrumentation for anything that those 2 are involved in, that those 2 characters are involved in, every aria for Papageno, and I can say this having played him during, you know, like community high school, college community theater for opera, every single song Papageno's in, especially for the quintets or for duets, somebody in the orchestra is playing his melody line so he can hear it in case he loses it. And every song he's in that he does solo starts with the orchestra playing his entire musical line from front to back once. Which is why...
So you can sit there and go,
oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. And so it's actually super convenient for like when I was doing Papageno, because I didn't have to learn shit, because I mostly got it from the orchestra in the 30 seconds before I had to do anything on stage. Now, obviously that made it really easy to learn too, because it was just repeating constantly the same things over. Papageno does not have particularly like complicated musical lines. It's the same line over and over, and he's just being a goofball while doing it.
Oh, sorry. Did you say the Magic Flute?
Oh, sweet Christ on a cracker. Yes. Tamino, right?
Get it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Sorry, I've got a barrage of random ass performance pictures for virtual backgrounds.
I mean,
for when I was in work streams.
Honestly fair. So that actually
that
actually just kind of tells you everything you need to know about the Magic Flute right there, really. Is Josh in a periwinkle blue suit.
Fair. It's very fair.
And so like
great suit.
And so you'll see a lot of that stuff for a lot of composers where they'll very clearly favor certain instruments or certain voice parts even, and those ones will have all the fun. For example, if you're looking at Don Giovanni, which is a problematic opera for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
But if you listen to it, like, the baritone bass parts in that opera slap
so hard,
and most
the
operas
tenor parts are there.
Don't do that. Oh yeah, the tenor part exists mostly to duet with the soprano. That being said, what's that one duet they have? Shit.
The very first one, the Revenge duet.
Yeah, it's very good. Also,
sorry, I'm doing Don Giovanni in August. So.
That's super fair. My favorite part about that is actually if you go listen to the Revenge duet from Don Giovanni, is that they do the exact same thing that Josh has done here, which is at the very end of like the culmination of it, the tenor and the soprano crisscross melody lines like 3 or 4 times, and it's fucking great.
It's so
it's
good.
Such a pretty fucking angry song. I love it so much.
So yeah, if you're up in Massachusetts and you want to come see some Don Giovanni,
I'm really looking forward to that show, actually.
Yeah, it's cool. We're doing a concert version in August with Berkshire Opera Festival.
Yeah. Well, see, there you go. And that shit's in my home state, so I'm gonna fucking convince my parents to go.
Yeah. Pittsfield, Mass.
Gonna wear a mask and tell everyone to fuck off.
Please do. It was supposed to be a fully staged version, and then they're like, oh no, the Rona. We'll just put you all apart.
We'll put you all 6 feet apart on stage.
And I was like, look, I'm still getting paid. I'll take it.
We'll put each of you in a box on a different section and then sing directly out into the audience.
Yep.
God, that would be the worst.
Everyone gets that box that like if you've ever been to a contemporary like church where they put the drummer in a plastic box, like we're all gonna be in that.
Oh Lord. Oh.
Not Christian, but he still remembers when he was.
Same. Okay, so let's fix the rest of those lines.
Sorry, wow, we got
really sidetracked. That's okay though. That's fine. People, if you're here, you knew that was going to happen.
That's fair. I can smell colors. I'm so tired.
Oh no.
It's fine. Everything's fine. Actually, you know what? Why don't you just take a look at this and think? And while you think, I'm going to grab another Red Bull.
Okay.
Red Bull, if you're looking for musicians to sponsor.
He said in a fadeaway into the green screen.
Felt right.
Okay. Josh, even if I'm thinking about this, I can't make any changes, so I'm going to forget it.
Yeah, you're making... I'm back.
I was like, even if you want me to think about it, I can contribute nothing to this.
That's fair. Okay, so let's talk music again. So we're going back into it, into trying to fix these little lines where we have breaks in the music, to make it so that we don't just have what we really don't want, unless it's entirely intentional, is a moment where all the sound stops.
Yep.
Because it's gonna sound real choppy. And unfortunately, I realize now that I had essentially done it at the end of every sentence.
Yep.
So it was like, we'll wait in the heat of the summer's embrace. Stop. And drown in the warmth of a deep lady.
Yeah, when I was like, oh no.
It was basically it was like a musical representation of me trying to run.
It's like that, what is that, the fucking Allstate commercial where it shows the guy running and just pans over and past him and has to backtrack, and he's bent over the mailbox like, oh god. Yeah, same. Alright, so
let's look at the bass line.
So also the tricky part for this too, folks, is that we don't want them all to breathe at the same time, staggeringly, because then we just move where the sound stops further back in the measure, which is not also great.
Okay, we could go. I'm looking at measure 18, where the bass officially starts. Right now we have dum 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 da dum 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 da. Or I fucked that up. We have dum 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 da dum 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 da da dum 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 da dum. So what if we did that same thing and a lot of easier ways to do this is to take some of your longer notes, truncate them a little bit.
Yup.
Today's episode is sponsored by the word truncate. So like if we take this quarter note here.
Which one?
And we right on measure 18, and we do what we did to the tenor 2, or into an eighth.
Yup.
You can get dum 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 da dum 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 da dum dum dum
da dum. Yep.
That could be that.
That works.
Let's turn you into a quarter. Let's turn you into an eighth.
All right. Now the question is, all right. So here, hold on. Back up.
Let me hold on. Let me just put it all in first.
Go for it.
My brain will get mad if I don't.
and then, or I'll forget, and I'll play it again later, and it'll be wrong.
Also that... Fuck, where did I go? I'm here.
I don't know. I don't know. You moved.
John, I need you to know things! Oh, this is a good stream.
All right. The question is can I, being out of practice and punched over a computer screen, make it through that live without breathing?
Let's find out.
Yeah. Dum, 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 da, dum, 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 da, dum, da, da, dum. Yeah, I can make it.
Yeah. So it's really just dum 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 da dum 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 da da dum.
Oh, that goes down a step, doesn't it?
Yeah. Da dum 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 dum.
Yeah, I can make that. That's pretty easy. Yes.
Cool.
Okay, you're making a face. I didn't know if that was a face of a facing.
It had nothing to do with you.
Cool.
I actually don't know what it had to do with at all. Just a face that I made.
Fair. Okay, so we made that one work. We still have the tenor 1 to figure out, right?
Now, how funky do you want to get?
How funky are you thinking?
So, remember last week we talked about thank you, Leth, that's the energy I want. Last week we talked about offbeats and syncopations.
Uh-huh.
What if we started the tenor 1 with a rest? And so we went... I want you to be that, followed by a chord note. That's not it. There we go. And then another rest. And then that. Going dum 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 da dum 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 dum.
I like the syncopation starting. It hooks into measure 19 to 20 weird.
It's a weird piece. That's where the funk comes from.
Yeah, I'd have to hear the whole transition through. I don't hate it.
Let me rewrite them all real quick then.
Yeah.
Just so we can see what we can play it.
I don't dislike it. I need to hear it in the greater context because we could play the whole syncopation and it could promptly implode.
Oh, it could be a hot garbage shit bad time.
Yeah,
But that's art, baby.
Yorp.
You think Beethoven, our most prolific black composer, was popping out bangers like day one? Come on. Beethoven being black's the best thing that ever happened on Twitter.
Yup.
Okay, turn to quarter note. Gonna turn you into an eighth rest.
Song is stuck in my head now. God damn it.
I feel like watching me input notes is like watching an accountant put in numbers. I'm sorry. I just always feel like it's real boring for everyone. Oh, I never even fixed this line for anyone. No. Oh, penis. Hold on.
Holding.
Okay, we're gonna do that. Fun fact, this piece is in a really interesting key, which is to say it's in the key of C sharp minor, which is which is not a problem. However, it sits weirdly exactly on the opposite ends of my little MIDI keyboard. So while I'm using the keyboard, I have to constantly switch octaves on the interface to keep playing in the right left. It's bizarre. So these edits I'm not doing on the MIDI keyboard. Okay.
That
and we had you as an
is
8th note.
unfortunate.
It sure is.
Like, ooh. Oh no.
We had you as... No, we didn't. Okay. I think that's it. Who wants to see if it sucks?
Me!
Alright, I only needed one and then I would do it.
Fair enough.
Here we go.
I mean, you did it yourself for the Matrix retweets thread, so I figured you didn't need me.
That's fair. I watched all 3 of the Matrix movies last night because I hate myself. But also because my partner hadn't seen any of them or had seen the first one when she was like 7 but didn't really remember it. And so to dampen the pain of the atrocities that are Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolutions, I live tweeted Ash's reactions and just our general thoughts. And it was around 120 tweets between 2 movies that there was some gold in there.
It mostly boils down to the first movie was fucking great and the other 2 were garbo.
Well, I mean, yeah. The first movie was like perfectly coded trans allegory by 2 trans women directors that was like, haha, fuck you, it's 1999 and we still got away with it.
Yup.
And then the second 2 were like
Hollywood sequel time!
This cis white Hollywood being like, ha ha ha, make all the men in love with the women now. And everyone was like, oh, okay. But also make the men garbage. All right. And don't give the women lines. What? So, there's a great series of live tweets about that, but let's listen to this. That's at JBlueTenor at Twitter. Here we go.
Oh, I dig that. It's very Song of Stormzy now.
So, okay. I dig it, but I don't dig it, and I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
I've realized that by doing this, I just have, especially when it gets to, let's see here, measure 21, tenor 1 and tenor 2 are just singing an E at the same time.
Yep. I did see that.
However...
But it does
it's
make...
It's only for that one measure.
Yeah, and it does hit like a really solid like Song of Stormzy vibe there. Of like
it gets real Song of Stormzy.
Yeah, which I kind of dig it.
Okay, I'm gonna bring it back and listen to it one more time. Partially because I want to, and actually that's just it. I want to.
Yep. That's fair.
And literally no one else is in control of this. So, mwahaha!
It's true.
In the heat of the summer's embrace, and drown in warmth of the deep lady's grace, till we're drowned in darkness, our lives with a shiver, give way to the flow of the Undersea River.
Good, actually.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Also, I do the more I listen to it, the fact that they hit the same notes and then never hit that again, I think because they diverge for the rest of the verse, right? Is actually kind of nice.
Yeah, I realize that as well. It's like it's a little moment of harmony,
and then it goes
not harmony. It's literally unison, but it's a little moment of unison
that splits into thirds later. Yeah,
that splits back, and I have to obviously rewrite these lyrics so you're not having to say a word on a place where there's no words. But that's my albatross. So
I'm honestly, fair, really.
I'm also stalling because the longer I take to do these things, the less time I have to be forced to write a
I mean, if you
fine.
want to keep stalling, we could play it back from the beginning and see what the whole thing sounds like now that we've made all the changes.
And we got some new listeners.
Yeah.
All right. Here's what we're gonna do. I don't know. The view count went down and then up, so either people are coming back in or new people are popping in.
Either way, screw it.
So here's what I said. Yeah, I'm gonna play it back from the beginning.
Okay.
Then we will take a quick pause to talk about the petitions and our Tiltify campaign, because we're at about the 2-hour mark. And then you can talk more about like the lyrical stuff and trying to figure out sentences that work for give and gives if you need to change more things.
I know, I fixed it all. It's all good.
Fuck. Okay, well, I don't know. You can talk about your day while I start writing new things.
Sure.
I don't like being watched during. My process is very personal.
That's super fair. Well, that's
Shut
real
up.
awkward considering we were like, let's stream this.
All right, here's the song so far.
Okay.
When ice melts in spring and the flowers do bloom, we'll walk from the shadows and into the glow. We'll offer our hearts with our gold and our silver, give way to the flow of the Undersea River. We'll wait in the heat of the summer's embrace, and drown in the warmth of a deep lady's grace. We'll drop down in darkness, our lives with a shiver, give way to the flow of the Undersea River. Fuck you, John! I see what you're writing in the chat!
I distracted you with slightly off-pace dum-dums.
Thank you for the Haunted Doll Watch reference, Claire Day. Alright, fine. I had something in my head, and then I lost it.
Oof.
What the fuck was it?
I don't know. Also, chat, I don't know exactly how desynchronized Josh and I were there.
A little.
So, oops, is all I'm going to say about that. But also,
Just
like,
a little.
I lost it halfway through because I'm looking at a tiny fucking sheet music screen and I couldn't tell where the notes went for a hot minute. On the other hand, man, I miss singing baritone. It's fun to just sing, like, for several minutes in a row. It's super relaxing, actually.
That's fair. Also, we're not sure about how sound bleed works in this house, but we have to make so many recordings for so many different things. So if like Ash is working on projects while I'm working on projects and I'm working on things, so if you ever hear other music in the house, that's probably what that is.
Fair enough. Have you guys got any plans for the what?
For the who? Oh, like the curse on Maris's hand, the one that Maris had,
or
the one that Sam.
Which? There's a lot of curses. Which one?
John cursed a lot of us in different ways. Oh, that makes more sense.
Hold on. Let me freaking. I was like, there's a lot of curses. Which one are we talking about here? Hold on a minute. I'm gonna play this real quick. I want to hear this. Oh, start with angry.
I was barely out of my home. I stepped to the world with a meaning to roam. I signed with a captain who promised me gold, an adventure to quicken the heart of the bold. For 14 odd years I did struggle alone. For the cause I worked my fingers down to the bone. Saw naught but the scuppers, saw naught of my pay. That was cast off and sent on my way. Ho! A curse upon you, sorrowful, thick and fast. Your days have been numbered, each hour your last. May the land see your sky turn to swallow you whole. And never forget what you stole. I found
this shit's nasty!
The bravest and true.
In the best way!
That took a turn!
To call such men crew. They could rally
That's
and cry,
it.
and the battle was
Diablo's
won.
song.
I'd face off a cannon if they but looked on.
Yep.
The mutinous dogs bound my hands while I
That's
slept.
gotta be our Captain Diablo's song.
Oh, yeah.
Kept. Threw me over the side with all kindness I shown. Now I vow to
I want to hear this, like, I'm hoping the chorus.
A curse upon you, sorrowful, thick and fast. Your days have been numbered, each hour your last. May the land see your sky turn to swallow you whole. And forever forget what you stole.
Ooh.
I met a fair maiden.
I didn't until just now, but now I do. Yeah, that's real good.
We now have plans.
Yeah, that's real good, actually. Damn.
Literally got so stuck to listening to Ashes on repeat forever for the past, like, week.
That's fair.
And I haven't listened to anything else.
Yeah, so things we have... Actually, that's a really good point. So let's talk... Josh, if you want to talk about the things, I will queue up the stuff, and then we'll talk about, like, songs that we...
Things last time. It's your turn.
Okay, cool. So I'll talk about the things. But, so, real quickly, just because so you all know, again, for those of you who are returning, for those of you who are new, if there are new, I don't think anyone's new.
Shh, everyone's new in my heart, and also an old friend.
That's so nice. So I'm going to say thank you all for being here. And as a reminder, we are raising money through Tiltify for the Bail Project, which you will find in the link that I have now posted in the Dibbly Doobly. And basically, is supporting those who are, to dismantle the paid bail system because it has some problems. What? And also, I believe, if I remember correctly, helping support those protesters who are, being arrested in the course of protesting to get bail and be able to let them out. If you donate $10 or more, you'll be entered into a raffle for the chance to win your very own custom sea shanty. We've hit our first milestone, which was $50. If we hit our goal of $250 at the end of the month, we'll be doing a second one. So everyone who's entered will get two chances to win instead of one. We are currently at 130. Well, we were at 130 the last time I checked. That could have.
And we are still there.
Still there? Okay. We are still there currently, but that is the fine. And as Josh said before, we understand and we know that time and money are in short supply. Well, time not less so sometimes, but energy and money are in short supply nowadays. And so, if you can give, we would very much appreciate it if you do. If you cannot, you have our friendship, I guess.
You have our friendship. You have
our support for coming in and hanging out.
And our love.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you.
And we appreciate y'all coming to hang out and sort of spend some time with us doing chantels.
And, one day when this blows up and we've got just 9,000 viewers every week, we'll remember you. You were the OG. You were the day one.
And for...
coming in. Thank you.
Hey, wow. Oh, my lord. And so, also, as well, the petitions thing that we put in just there is, wow, yeah, it's doing it already before I could click it. Good job.
Yep.
I was wondering why the show, I was like, I didn't type it yet. What's happening?
Haha, anyone can type it.
Anyone can type it. Check it out. So, Josh remembers the names and I don't because I have no executive functioning. Please help.
They're petitions for Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Aubrey, and George Floyd.
There we go. Jesus fuck. I am so sorry.
No, but we're all tired, and unfortunately we are in an age where there are a lot of names to remember.
Yeah, it's true.
But these are really great petitions that are worth, like anything you sign, it's worth reading through if you haven't yet. Because information is powerful. And so we encourage you to take a read of these specific petitions that we've done, but there's lots out there. And if you feel moved to, give them a sign. We'd really appreciate that.
Yeah. And like again, if you can't, if you're tired, if you've already done it, and please share them. Spread the word. Make sure that we don't just we don't spend the time protesting and demanding justice and then just lose it 2 weeks later, which some people are already doing. Let's not make that happen here. Okay. So let's talk.
I have a question.
Yes.
Sorry.
Go.
Brain.
You good?
So for verse 3.
Okay.
Right? We are at, what are we at? The fall? We're at fall?
Yeah, we're at fall.
In the original, like the OG Ashes.
Sure.
This is when they have the big drone. In the music.
Yeah.
Now that drone would take us away from the funk that we have done in the second verse. Which, like, I'm totally cool with each verse having a completely different world to it. My question is, do we want to do that?
I think, so given the lyrics of it, I want to put the drone really hard on the last verse.
Well, I think, actually, let me see.
Do they drone on the last verse again?
I'm about to find out.
Okay, well, there we go. I'm also going to look. Doopy doop doop doop.
No, the last verse is done like the second verse.
Oh, it's like the solo guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think since we've changed it up, let's put the drone on the last verse because that's the finality verse.
Okay, so then my second question is,
yeah.
Do we want to continue to get funkier with each verse until we get to the last verse?
As long as people can sing it, Josh.
Well, yes, obviously. It's going to be all 30-second notes.
Great! No!
No? What's wrong?
16 everything!
16 notes a measure for everyone. It'll be The Devil Went Down to Georgia of acapella singing.
If I wanted to do the fucking Flight of the Bumblebee acapella with my face again, I would just go do that.
That's a wild acapella piece.
It's so much fun.
So fun. Okay, so I will attempt funky but still fresh.
Okay. So, we'll talk. Let's talk about shanties for a hot minute because we got to.
Yeah.
I need to add this to the list of.
Also, switch pages so I can unshare this so you don't hear me clunking notes every couple seconds.
Super fair. Let me. Yeah. So I'm gonna move that off of the. Hold on, I've got to put the curse on my list of shanties now.
Yep.
Very good. So, actually, yeah, here's a really good point. So, we've got a couple of different ones that exist. I'll run you through the list of what we've got so far. We have two for Wellerman, which is... We haven't looked at Wellerman yet, right? I don't think so yet.
No, I don't think we have.
We looked at La Venganza last time.
We looked at Venganza last time.
We did. So, we lived two songs for Wellerman, which is another shanty. This one is about it's actually a plot hook, or it's already been a plot hook for one of the other characters in the game that I'm running. That one's a lot of fun. We also have a cover of Stan Rogers Barrett's Privateers, which is for some NPCs that existed in that one. It's a very piratey song for that one. And what else we got? We have we're wrapping up the one for Rolling Down to Old Maui. We're working on Ashes now. We did one for Bully in the Alley last week. And then now we've added the curse to it because that's great.
Because it slaps.
And then there's another song that I'm looking at called Bonnie Ship the Diamond, which is off of the new Longest John's album, as many others, but I'm going to play their version because they have explicitly said that they're okay with Twitch streamers using their music. So, for one, awesome stance, guys. Thank you very much for letting us use that content in terms of education and sharing your music and showing it off for the Shanty Shop. And two, That applies to everybody. So every Sea of Thieves player has been using their stuff on Twitch. It's great. But let's take a crack at Bonnie Ship the Diamond real quick. Yeah, they have a lot of guitar songs on this album, and I'm very happy with that. This one is a jam.
The Diamond is a ship, my lads, for the Davis Strait we're bound. The key it is all garnished with bonny lasses around. Captain Thompson gives the orders to sail the ocean wide. Oh, and the sun it never sets, my lads, no darkness dims the sky. For it's cheer up, my lads, let your hearts never fail. For the bonny ship, the Diamond, goes a-fishing for the whale. For it's cheer up, my lads, let your hearts never fail. For the bonny ship, the Diamond, goes a-fishing for the whale.
I can't play guitar for shit. Here we are.
Along the quay of Peterhead, the lasses stand around, with shawls all pulled around them and their salt is running down. Well, don't you weep, my bonny lass, though you'll be left behind, for the rose will bloom on Greenland's ice before we change our mind. For it's cheer up, my lads, let your hearts never fail.
They do this with a layer in you'll see a lot of music where like it'll start off with a couple very uncomplicated elements and layer them add in over time. It's very good.
For the bonny ship, the Diamond, goes a-fishing for the whale.
So we're doing. I'm working on one for that. That's going to be another one for. La Venganza is like a shanty, for the crew of the Revenge. I want to write the Bonnie Ship, the Diamond for the Revenge as like this is that's like the insert stinger song at the end of the episode.
It's literally the like anime outro credits.
Yeah.
Like as like you see Diavolo at the like with their coat flapping behind him and like Mary's up in the crow's nest and like
Yeah, we're gonna do the 1 minute and 30-second end of anime episode animatic stinger is what we're gonna do.
Because we're big ass weebs.
And then because you've got to have more insert songs, I'm also working on one for Here's a Health to the Company, which is another somber, sad song of nostalgia-ing. Go on.
We're gonna take you up on that.
Oh, yeah.
Kind friends and companions, come join me in rhyme. Come lift up your voices in chorus with mine. Come lift up your voices, all grief to refrain. For we may or might never all meet here again. Here's a health to the company and one to my lass. Let us drink and be merry, all out of one glass. Let us drink and be merry, all grief to refrain. For we may or might never all meet here again.
Yeah, that one's got a neat chorus for sure that I really enjoy, and also comes in like out of nowhere, which is great. Yeah, recommend check out their stuff. It's real good stuff. Also, if y'all have a shanty you want us to take a look at in the way that Lethalia just did with The Curse, let us know, because like Josh and I will literally listen to every shanty under the sun. Even the versions we don't wanna, for research purposes. Ask how many versions of Bully in the Alley Josh had to go through to get an actual workable song.
Honestly, maybe 25.
Yep, see? So
there are some versions out there.
Wow, thank you, web captioner. That's just...
There are certainly some virgins out there. And we love you, and we respect you.
Oh, Lord.
God.
Christ. All right. Also, speaking of which, hey, Josh, have you listened to Bones in the Ocean?
I have not.
Hold up. I'm gonna toss that up on the stream for you real quick.
Do I need to listen to do I need to turn the stream sound on again?
Maybe, yeah.
All right, time for some
I
weird
bid
echoey
farewell
sounds.
to the port and the land, and I paddle away from brave England's white sands
another forecast
to
lyric.
search for my long ago forgotten friends, to search for the place I hear all sailors end. As the souls of the dead fill the space of my mind, I'll search without sleeping till peace I can find. I fear not the weather, I fear not the sea. I remember the fallen, do they think of me? When their bones in the ocean forever will be.
So the thing that you can really tell when the Longest Johns are singing something they wrote versus something they're covering. Mm-hmm. They have a lot more freedom. They've taken a lot more freedom with their originals to really sort of lean into the folk and like a little bit more of the folk grander umbrella as opposed to just the shanty umbrella, which I dig. Like folk music in general, A+. For those of you who are fans of The Expanse, the song that Ashford sings in season 3 onwards is the Langbelta version of the Ballad of Captain Kidd, which which is an old shanty about pirating, so it makes sense. Ashford knows it. For those of you who don't watch The Expanse, nothing of what I said makes any sense to you, and I didn't spoil shit. So, winning.
Nailed it.
That being said, I'm going to throw that one up on there too, give Josh some time, because it has some really haunting... It's a very haunting ballad in the way that it works, in that it's actually a really great example of like male high voices being used with intent. So we're just going to throw that up there real quick, because this is the I Sing Things. Now this one is not a Longest John song, so I can leave it up for approximately 20 seconds.
Oh, me name is Captain Kidd, as I sailed. Oh, me name is Captain Kidd, as I sailed. Oh, me name is Captain Kidd, and God's laws I did forbid, and most wickedly I did, as I sailed.
So if you listen to the Expanse version, I'm going to do this because that way I can claim it under fair use. Haha, educational purposes. So if you listen to the Langbelta version in the Expanse, if you ever get a chance to watch the show, or just find the scenes on YouTube, they've changed a bunch of the narrative convention. So this is the kind of thing I was talking about, and this is the roundabout reason why I'm talking about this is the kind of lyrical narrative convention that I try to do when I'm writing my own stuff. They don't use the word sailed because they're not sailing ships anymore. They're steering spaceships. They use steered. They use omigo because Langbelta is a version, is a sort of space dialect Creole, which is sort of portmanteaus and mishmashes a bunch of words and languages together to make unique sounding phrases that are sort of short and punchy and quick. With the idea being that in the Expanse's world, when the Belters, or people who lived out in the asteroid belts and mined, were originally working, they had crappy suits with crappy communications equipment, so they had to use quick words and like mostly hand gestures to get their points across. And so the language kind of evolved from there. So they don't use sail, they use steer. They use as I steered instead of as I sailed. They do... I don't think they actually ever mention Kidd by name. It's just all the other verses about... Omi bang from sound fo sound, which in the Langbelta Creole translates to as I went from sound to sound. And that's just kind of that's the kind of thing that I like to do, is I like to take these ideas that you can have the same narrative conventions and same narrative structure, and you're telling stories through the same thing. Now, obviously, the one for The Expanse, using the Long Belta version, sticks really hard to the idea of the Ballad of Captain Kidd and its lyrical sort of the narrative construction of it, because its express purpose is it's a song that has, from old Earth, moved outwards into space, been sort of changed and added onto and transformed in the way that shanties have in general. For example, there's an old shanty called The Coast of High Barbary, which is about which basically is about the English coastline, and then coming back, or actually not the English coastline, but the English version is specifically very British in the way
aggressively British.
It's super, yeah.
It's like you listen to it, and all of a sudden you got tea, you got some like digestives biscuits, like it just pops up next to you. It's a time.
Yeah. And so the Barbary Coast is a sort of space. It's the coastal region of North Africa. And then if you go on and listen later on to the version sung by Americans, almost it is the same lyrical idea, just completely different words. Because at that point, we'd thrown tea in the ocean and you couldn't have it pop up next to you anymore because it was expansive. And so at that point, you have sort of the language changing from space to space as time goes on. And that's the kind of thing that we try to mimic and do here on Shanty Shoppe when we're writing these things. I'm going to check in with Josh real quick, though. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm just having a grand old time. Thanks for asking.
Great. Do you need me to stall you for more time? How you doing?
I mean, look, fuck it. I've written a line, and I'm working on a second one, but, whatever.
All right, cool.
In hindsight, I should have put the fucking melody in first, but, here we are.
Yeah, that probably would have helped.
Live and let die. It's fine.
I was like, that part you already know how that goes. Yeah. So, as a note, for those of you who are looking to do this kind of own thing, the lyrical section is the one that requires. There's a lot of work involved in either way.
They're both hard in different ways.
They're both hard in different ways. The lyric one, you will stare at it trying to figure out your story and your characters and how to make them fit and how to make them rhyme and how to make them sing. And that's a completely different thing. I can do that for the most part because I already come in with the story in my brain. And so I can just slap it down on a piece of paper or on a Google Doc and then be done with it. I said this earlier and Ash heard me and couldn't reply. Music is a lot like math. In that they both have very like clear conventions, but it's like learning another language before you can figure them out again.
Yup.
And so Josh is now going to the part where he's translating what the fuck is going on into an actual thing that people can read, which takes longer. So we end up with, me just... we end up with me stalling for time and talking about shanties and, like, other things where shanties have shown up in narrative for a bit. So I think, that being said, though, we are, like, nearly done with the stream. So
we're just flip it over and we'll take it through as we go through.
Yeah. So what I want to do,
and you can stall and talk while I still write, and you can ask me questions.
Beautiful. Let's do it. That's the lyrics.
Nailed it.
Oh, because you reshared it, and now it is expanded and covered my desktop. There we go. Ba-boom. I need to check that before I change.
We're getting funky.
All right, we get funky.
It looks worse than it sings. I promise.
Oh. Okay.
So it looks weird, but what you have in that bass line now is before we had dum 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 da dum 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 da da dum 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 da dum 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 da dum 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 da dum 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 da dum 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 da dum dum dum. Fine.
Okay.
That should be an 8th note. Now we have dum 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 da da dum 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 da da dum 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 dum. So now we've got this it's moving a little forward. I've given the basses more than just note. Because I love them. I've also given the baritones a funky rhythm.
Yeah, I saw that.
And what I'm doing here is I am mirroring the three. So like it is, each chunk is about a 3-measure section. It's a measure of 6/8, a measure of 3/8, a measure of 6/8. So originally the baritones had dum 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 dum, yeah, dum dum dum.
Yep.
You know what? I also, now that I'm thinking about it, in the original, might just cut an 8th note intentionally off of that line.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Because everyone else is still singing notes when you would rest. That way I've written in a breath for you. Hey!
Yay! Breathing.
So now the baritone has dum 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 dum. So we've taken this rhythm, right?
Stuff.
So we've taken our 8th note, which, as we kind of talked about when we were talking about meter and rhythm, the 8th note is the beat, right? So we're in 6/8 time. 6/8 notes make up a measure. So we have 3/8 notes. You get dum dum dum. Great. Then we're using 2 dotted 8th notes, and we said the dot always adds half of the value of whatever it's in front of. Mm-hmm. So if an 8th note is 1 beat, the dot next to an 8th note makes it 1.5 beats. And that gives us that same kind of cool, funky, syncopated feeling, because we're not getting both of those notes on a downbeat. The second one comes kind of in between where you would expect to hear it. So you have dum 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 is 3/8 notes, whereas 2 dotted 8s are dum dum. So this is this kind of cool. We do this a lot in music writing. You see it a lot. It's called like a 3-verse-2 rhythm, where those 2 notes, those 2 dotted 8th notes, take up the same amount of time as 3/8 notes. So if I were to play, and this is, a lot of like percussionists do this a lot, where like if I'm tapping 8ths here, right? So here is our driving pulse, 8th, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's my right hand. My left hand's gonna tap dotted 8ths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you put them together and you get 1, 2, 3. And you can switch them up with however you want. So you get that kind of da 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 that drives the piece. And I've made that happen by, if you notice, I have the bass line. I'm pointing to my computer, like you can see me pointing physically at my computer. I have the bass line here doing 3/8 notes, while the baritone line is doing the 2 dotted 8ths. So like if I were to just play that, and you'll hear a little bit of the solo, but fine. Yeah. I don't even know if I put these in right yet, so let's find out.
Let's find, yeah.
Funky.
Yeah.
That's some funky shit.
Do that again.
Fine.
It's real good.
Measure 30.
I dig that. That's dope.
Now,
Oh, I'm absolutely making you sing Undersea River.
That's absolutely fair. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna
You already broke the piano wall, which means I can make you go to a piano.
You're absolutely right, and I will go to a piano.
Hey.
Oh, but my partner has the tablet that has the lyrics on it.
Oof.
I'll pull it up on my phone. It'll be fine.
I believe you.
I'm gonna steal that kind of offbeat stuff that we put in the tenor one, and take out that. It's not going to sound much different, but the baritones will thank me for giving them a place to breathe.
Yeah.
So it'll go da 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 dum dum da 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 dum dum da 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 da.
Yeah.
And breathing is fun. Take it from me.
Dig it.
Now I gotta go. Now this is like the really boring part that you can watch, I guess. Is me going back and trying to remember which direction the notes go at any given time.
Well, I was saying we're coming up to 6:40, so if we want to switch over to you singing the whole thing, and then do our like hello, this is who we are, and then be done. That might actually be a good
the
use of
whole
time.
thing takes 3 minutes.
Yeah.
You want to end a little early?
It's up to you.
Well, why don't we chit chat while I finish the baritone line, and then I'll put the baritone solo in, and then we'll go and play it. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
So then you can at least hear the solo fully with these two cool rhythms we have in the lower voices.
And dig it. Okay. So other than that, like I think we're pretty much done for today for the most part. But if people have questions, if you have any questions, if you'd like to know anything about the music that we are doing or any reasons why we do certain things, don't ask us. We have no idea why we do certain things.
It's a fucking loaded question.
If you want to know anything about why, why we make certain stylistical choices or why we do do that particular aesthetic for it, please ask us. I would hope.
Ooh. Most common key to start a shanty in.
What?
We got a question immediately from Leth about what's the most common key to start a shanty in.
I don't. Have we done a shanty in?
I think most of the keys are different.
Yeah.
Let me go through my Rolodex real quick. That's right, my Rolodex. C sharp minor. Bullet in the Alley is in. F, C, G, D, A, E, F sharp major.
Okay. I think the answer is mostly if it doesn't have a sharp or a flat in it, it's probably not a key they've started it in.
Yeah, I think the keys are very different. Yeah, and I think it also stems from, when these pieces were originally sung, they weren't notated in any way.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time you got to the first notation, who knows what key everyone was singing it in? It could have varied so many times, and so and the cool thing is with these, and I don't know if I've mentioned it before, I'm always writing these shanties in whatever key the original material that we're using is. So this piece, the Longest Johns do it in C sharp minor.
Yep.
I write it in there because when I go back and listen to it as I'm writing, I don't have to change the notes in my head as they go. And then when it's done, if John and I go, that's too high or that's too low, we can just transpose the whole thing to a key that we want. Excuse me.
You good. And I think also really the most common key to start a shanty in is what can you sing?
Mm-hmm.
And
it's not a shanty. It's not a can't-a-see. Nope, I don't got it. Keep going. Shut up. I didn't say anything.
That's fair. And so I think if you're going to start a shanty, if you're going to start writing one, the suggestion I have and the way I've done it before is I literally just hum a melody into my phone and then throw it into a Google Drive, and then I write the lyrics. That way I can listen to the melody in my head and write the lyrics afterwards, because there's really no point in notating the entire thing out in a musical notation program if you don't have the words you're intending on using for the most part. Especially if you're the one doing all the work. Like, if you're not, like, working in a team the way Josh and I are, where I will write the lyrics and throw them at him, and then he'll have a pretty solid idea and start building, and then I can change the lyrics from there, and we've got mostly the same convention, but not quite sometimes. If you're the one doing all of that work by yourself, save yourself some effort from having to write lyrics into, like, something like Sibelius twice.
Yep.
Other than that, yeah, I don't think any of the ones we've started have been in a repeating key, and
I don't think so.
That's just kind of like, just do whatever key is you can sing in, and then arrange around it. And if it not, the people around you will match the song that you're singing in, especially if you're whatever key it is. Like, for example, I'm the kind of music kid who I couldn't name you the key that we were singing in if we were singing in a key spontaneously, but I could tell you what notes fit in the chord because I have an idea of the chord structure from it. So that is, most people who have done enough music to be able to know that will be, you don't even really, like, if you're doing it like a sing-along or like a karaoke kind of style thing, and you're not handing out sheet music with notes. And for example, for Ashes specifically, this is one we're going to hand out for sheet music with notes, right? While I think almost every other chanting we've done on the stream, for the most part, is one that you could have like a lead caller for that section, sing it to everybody and teach it to them, and then do it all together. Because it's not, the other ones aren't as rhythmically complex or as a cappella centric as the other shanties have been. Yeah, that's all I got for that one, I think.
Now you get to see me try and figure out the rhythm of things as they go in.
Yay! And also, for that note, right? Like, Ashes is a weird one for this stream because it's very good and it's a great shanty. It's a great folk song. I don't know if it works as a shanty unless there's something you specifically need to do in 6/8/3/8 time on a boat. I don't know that because
There might be.
There might be. I don't do sailing. But remember, like, the whole point of the shanty is to either, if you're doing a forecastle song like some of them are, that's entertainment and that's fun and that's just being able to sing. If you're doing, things like Holloway Joe or Randy Dandio, all of those songs are basically chain gang songs in that they are meant to establish a rhythm on a boat. And that's really the only thing you have to worry about at that point, right? Is what can people sing that is easy and not have to really think too much about it without being able to just jump in and join. And that's why if you listen to the stuff off like the Assassin's Creed soundtrack for Black Flag and Rogue,
Rogue,
that's the other one. Everyone is mostly singing in unison in terms of melody, although there's some like slight key variations where obviously they're trying to go for like a very organic sort of singing vibe to that soundtrack, and that's okay. That you don't have to have 5-part harmonies on everything you do. Josh and I just like to do it because we know how.
Yes,
that's really it.
Now.
Also, writing music is sometimes just that. It's just slam thing. Nope, that's wrong. And then switch it up. For sure. Actually, you know what we'll do?
No, what will we do?
Here's what we'll do. If you want, I will do Pledge of the Unbroken Ocean. I'll sing that for them so they have the full song.
Yeah, sing it for them, and then we'll play this, and then I'll play everything.
Yeah. Okay.
I love that plan.
I'm going to jump this back over the lyrics so y'all can follow along if you want to. So, for those of you who just joined us again, This is we have been working on two different one shanty basically, two different arrangements in lyrics and styles. This one for the Pledge of the Unbroken Ocean. Both of these songs were for two different player characters in the D&D campaign that I am currently running for the group that Josh is a part of, and also Ophelia is a part of. Which reminds me, I need to figure out a shanty for Maris at some point.
Yup.
But the Pledge
what would a Triton shanty be?
Yeah, I have lots of bells, I think. I don't know. We'll see. Pledge of the Unbroken Ocean is one for Josh's partner Ashley, who's also one of my good friends from childhood friends, playing the cleric Rowan Saltspear. And she is a cleric of a deity called Bakunawa, who is the kraken serpent that turns the world. And so she's all about motion and pursuing your desires, and blah, 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 blah. Couple things of note for narrative perspectives and the way that this was constructed, and I'll throw this, we talked about this a little bit at the beginning, but I'll throw it back up again. The Unbroken Ocean, quote unquote, in Bakunawa's faith, is essentially what the afterlife is, or that like heaven/hell/purgatory, all those things kind of wrapped up together in one big. It's there. Is what the Unbroken Ocean refers to. So then every time we mention the Unbroken Ocean is what we're talking. That's what we're talking about. The Unbroken Ocean is all of the water in the world in which Bakunawa resides. So let's hand you through this one. I'm gonna skip. One more thing. There is one section here where it sort of between the 5th and 6th verses where it meanders off into like an instrumental break. I'm gonna skip that because then we'd be sitting here for 30 seconds while I stared into the distance, counting out measures in my head. So I'm just gonna go straight from the 5th verse into the 6th verse, and then we'll finish it up. So. Stand tall and proud as the day turns to night, and watch for the shadows in the flickering light. Swear that our hearts will be always in motion, and she'll guide us with waves from the unbroken ocean. Bring wind to the sails of the children of waters, and a boot to the backside of destiny's squatters. Offer help where we can with a laugh and a potion, and she'll guide us with waves from the unbroken ocean. Remind those who travel to pay up their tithe, lest they find themselves dying all blissful and blithe. Remind them Our Lady is naught but an ocean, and she'll guide us with waves from the unbroken ocean. Spin onward and up on the great wheel of life, and know we'll drop down into hardship and strife. Have faith in the gyre and keep her devotion, and she'll guide us with the waves from the unbroken ocean. And know that in time there will be cause to weep, when those that we love will return to the deep. But no, we can't fathom our mother's emotion. She'll guide them with the waves to the unbroken ocean. Nope, I have noticed that there is a syllable I want to put there. Never mind. Oh, that's why I didn't do it. Okay. Fun fact, I hate when it does this thing where one word ends up on the line below it, because that annoys me, and so I kept a syllable out specifically to make it fit on the page. Could I change the margin to fix that? Yes, I could. Should I do that instead? Probably. In the meantime, verse 6! When it comes time for our great story's ending, pray that our lives will have leaned toward mending. that those who we love will keep on in motion, and she'll guide us with the waves to the unbroken ocean. Repeat 3 times. Anyway, so that's the Pledge of the Unbroken Ocean. That's Rowan's version of this song. It's very hopeful and very, you know, happy-ish.
Yeah.
Not
I'm
at all
ready.
like Xander's.
Well, where's the lie?
Womp womp. Alright.
All right, so let's play what we've written, and then I'll take it over to the piano corner to close it out.
Yay!
Let's go to measure 30. Let's go to measure 30. It's a couple measures back.
Hey!
Okay, so this is the third verse with just the solo and the bass and baritone, and we'll see if I've written it out correctly.
Yeah! Worked out pretty good.
That's funky, and I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna make me go to the piano now, aren't you?
I am!
Okay, stretch.
Stretch up, take a drink of water, do the breathe.
Okay, let me turn my camera.
Self-care.
back to normal. Self-care is my favorite care. Okay.
Crap, I just remembered I have a game to play tonight. God damn.
Yep.
Oh, I have so much stuff to do.
Self-care. Fucking got him. Okay, let's see if I remember all of this.
I believe in you.
And when it gets weird, it's because I'm looking off of a phone.
Lyrics are hard to read on a phone. It's true.
Can you see me?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit? Uh-oh. Do I need to move something?
You just got sheet music in the way.
Did that fix it?
I mean, mostly it's just like you've got the upflip of the piano that's going to block you a little bit, but there's not very much we can do about that.
Mm-hmm. There actually is.
I mean,
Hold on.
if you bring it down, yeah.
Or.
Oh God! It's so tall now.
I know.
All right, well there we go.
There we go. Problem solved. Okay.
Is that on a music stand?
Yup.
Hey, that's the kind of ingenuity we love to see.
Mm-hmm. How about that?
Yeah, now we can see you.
Cool. Let me make sure I remember all the chords.
It's Jolene, Josh.
Cool. Okay. When ice melts in spring and the flowers do, we'll walk from the shadows and into the room. We'll offer our hearts, our gold and our silver.
Wait, hold up, Josh. Josh, point your microphone towards you.
Why would you wait till now?
Cause it wasn't garbage last time, and now it is.
Oh wow! Ow!
Yeah.
That hurt. Okay.
The audio quality went to complete shit.
Hey, how about is this better?
Oh yeah, so much better.
When ice melts in spring and the flowers do, we'll walk from the shadows and into the room. We'll offer our hearts, our gold and our silver. Give way to vein. Her love and her like the harsh glare of winter gives way to the flow of the undersea river. The lady has not but politeness to give, for she knows at the end that she'll surely outlive the anger of those who just can't forgive her. Gives way to the flow of the undersea river. Gives way to the flow. At the end of our days, Typhysea wonders. When the cycle is done, she'll spin up and onwards. As life leaves our world and the oceans do wither, we'll return to the flow of the undersea river. We'll return to the flow of the undersea river. We'll return to the flow of the undersea That's it. I did it. I
Yeah.
did it for you.
Yay! It was very pretty.
Thanks. I forgot to turn the noise canceling part off on my headphones, so I couldn't hear myself half the time, and I got really confused.
Oh no! Uh-oh.
It's cool. What?
Oh no. There we go.
Oh no.
Never mind, we're good.
Well-
We're good. The stream just boinked itself for a minute there.
That's
that was
fair.
awkward.
I love you too, Thicc boy.
Hey, Alright, so that's our stream for today, folks. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, there was going to be some funky times coming up in July because we've got a whole bunch of things happening for stuff and timing. So we might drop off a little bit in terms of stream, the consistency of the stream.
But we'll figure it out.
We're aiming to keep streaming through July, hopefully, and to keep this going. But
And
yeah.
we're looking at, at some point we might start up more little like chill streams. Maybe we'll just like co-op video game together, come hang out, listen to the Longest Johns because we legally can.
For sure. That being said, Josh, if you want to just run through who you are and where we can find you on the internet real quick, and then I'll do the same. That'll be the bit boop.
Yeah, I am Joshua Blue. I am at JBlueTenor on Twitter. And we are collectively at Thicc Notes on Twitter, which will continue to grow slowly but surely. We'll do little introductions, I guess, in the outro. I am a Western classically trained musician. Got my master's in music, and now I use it for my job. I sing opera professionally, but I also do lots of these cool little side projects that I really love. If you want to know more about what I'm doing in the classical world, please feel free to look me up at www.joshuabluetenor.com, and that's where all of my work, classical music related stuff can be found.
Yeah, no, he's a professional because he's got a website. I had a whole bunch of things I was going to say about that, and then I just made a snarky comment and forgot them all. Hi,
Fair.
I'm John. You can find me on Twitter at Ryamasa, R-I-0-M-A-S-A. I am also, that's a sentence I can say. I am also a Western classically trained musician. Unlike Josh, I have no degrees in it because I stopped pre-college to focus on psychology and mental health gaming. Which is what I'm doing now. I'm currently pursuing a master's degree in clinical mental health counseling with a focus on using LARPs in tabletop RPGs through the focus of a section of the creative arts therapies called drama therapy. I also stream a bunch of crap on Twitch with a bunch of different D&D games. I'm wrapping the finale of Thrall, which is a grimdark 5e game on Unmade Gaming on Tuesdays 8 to 10 p.m. That's going to be our finale coming up this Tuesday. And then, I'm really excited, I'm going to be starting my first time GMing for a stream campaign on Scraticus Academy. It's a game called 9 Lives Just Ain't Enough, and it is a Victorian gas lamp urban fantasy pulp game starring magical cats. So if any combination of those adjectives is your shtick, check it out. I don't actually know what day it's going to be on yet or when, but when I find that out, I'll let you know. Also, as Josh has just thrown up in the Twitch chat over there, we are streaming this month in support of the Bale Project through the Tiltify link we have up there. It is you can read about it on the thing. We've hit our goal. I've said it like 3 times. I'm tired. We've currently hit our first milestone of $50. We've hit $130 out of our $250 goal. And that is if you donate $10 or more as part of Tiltify and leave us a way to contact you, either your Twitter, a Discord handle, an email in the comments of your donation, you are automatically entered in a chance to win your own custom sea shanty, either an original or a rewrite, your choice. And that will be something that Josh and I will probably do live on this stream.
Yeah.
Also, sign the whole bunch of petitions. There's a lot of injustice in the world. We're trying to bring attention to the stuff that is still out there that people tend to forget after a certain amount of time has passed, and we want to make sure that's not how that goes. So if you've already signed them, please share them so you can spread the word. And with that, I think that'll be us for tonight. So
yeah, thanks for joining us, y'all, and join us again next time for Thick Boys and Thick Notes.
Truth. All right.
Now that's a fucking sandwich. No, I'm still working on the last line. It's cool.
I still need that on a shirt. All right, folks, that'll be us for tonight. So take care. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and we'll see you next time, 4 to 7 p.m. EST, right here on the Twitches. Bye-bye.
Bye.